Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 797. It's a lovely Tuesday. Tuesday, July 11th. Yo, we should get... You all want to get Slurpees after this? Let's get some Slurpees after
that
this.
sounds fantastic.
Oh, are they doing a gimmick?
I think they're doing the gimmick. I think they're doing the gimmick. They always do the gimmick now, right? It's the gimmick. It's the gimmick.
I didn't know. Damn.
Welcome to the Giant Bombcast.
No, it ate it.
It ate it?
You went robot on us.
No, yeah. I did that on purpose.
Good.
No?
Okay.
That's
better.
You were supposed to be Howard. No.
That's the bad robot. This is the good robot.
I'd say it was better.
No, this is just an echo.
That's J.J. Abrams' bad robot. Yeah.
Oh, J.J. Abrams' bad robot. Well, starting the show with some technical malfunctions is the only way to start the show. And I just want to take this opportunity to let everyone know this is some serious business here, folks. Some serious news. I, as the host of the Giant Bombcast, Jan Ochoa, joined as always, co-captain of the ship, Jeff Grubb. Wearing his Stussy hat because he's the Stussiest out of all of us, Jeff Baclar. And joining us from parts unknown, Dan Reichert.
Hello. Yes. Hi.
We have some a little bit of serious housekeeping to start the show, folks. This will be the last episode of the Giant Bombcast. Coming to you at 11 a.m. because starting next week, we'll be streaming live starting at 9 a.m. West Coast Pacific time. I don't know how time zones start.
Yeah, you gotta milk that. Come on.
I know I could have milked it more, but then like my own heart starts palpitating as I was saying it, and I was like, "Oh shit! Oh no!"
Don't look at the chat right now because they are not happy.
Oh man!
I mean, you already quit at Summer Games Fest at the end of the...
Yep, that's right. I'm taking the show down with me. I'm taking everything down with me.
Might as well.
But yes, folks, we decided as a group to move the Giant Bombcast up a little bit to kind of try and coincide with the normal time. Get that Game S Mornings is popping off. I know it's an hour later, but trying to capitalize off of that time. Today especially, turns out there's some news that breaks really early in the morning, at least for West Coast. A little bit earlier for East Coasters. And also, it's an easier work day for the folks out east. Also, this allows for the pod to be published sooner. So for folks that listen to the archive, if you're listening to the archive, whatever time that the Giant Bombcast live streams at, it doesn't affect you. So you're cool. You're just hanging and clanging, baby. But yeah.
Banging and banging.
Fanging and banging. I apologize. But how's everyone doing?
Great.
Doing
Thank you
all
for
right.
asking.
Doing all right.
Fantastic. Dan?
Yes.
Can we talk about where you were at?
Oh, I went to Belgium. Yeah.
Okay. Top thing you ate.
Cool.
Top thing you ate.
On.
Top thing you ate.
Ghent, Belgium. I spent 4 or 5 days there with Jake Decker of GameSpot, and it's went to my home country. That's where my family's from. I met a potential relative of mine. You'll see that in the video that will be coming to Giant Bomb in the near future. I hunted him down. I contacted him on the internet and met up with someone that is probably a distant relative. Ate chocolates and waffles and all that stuff, and played Baldur's Gate. I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. But yes, I'm back from Belgium. Still in at the tail end of a maelstrom of travel and moving and all this stuff, but we're getting there.
I laid down on a beanbag for most of the day the other day, Dan, and I thought about how much you've been traveling, and I'm glad I'm not Dan right now. I'm pretty happy about that.
I got a fucking blood clot on the flight back.
Okay.
And my back, I threw out my back showering in Belgium, and then I had to do a fucking 12-hour trek back. I got cycling ice packs.
Are you
and
okay?
Stuff. I got I've looked into. I've talked to the medical advice. I got the ice packs. I got the aspirin for the blood thinner. I got all that stuff going on. But I am physically deeply uncomfortable these last 2 days. But we're getting.
Who could have predicted this?
I know.
Predicted this downfall.
I'm taking walks. I'm
feel
I'm
like
stretching.
Dan is
I'm
like...
eating better now. This is a way. Look, I'm about to hit 40 in about a year. I think my body's just doing everything to scream at me right now. They're like, all right, get your shit on track. And I'm taking it seriously.
Your
Right?
body's firing warning shots at you.
Doesn't it rule, Grub, that we both made it to 40 well before our bodies falling apart, but not for Dan. Just couldn't quite close.
I have no
the
one to blame
deal.
for this but myself, and I will fix it myself. I will get this done. I'll get in a good way.
I did wake up today and my tailbone was hurting, and I cannot think of any reason why that is happening.
Do you have a fucking Cush Zone coccyx pillow?
I do. It's not the Cush Zone. I got one just like that though.
Oh, I'm deep in the Cush Zone. I'm deep in the Cush Zone here.
Oh man, I got to get myself into the Cush Zone.
Man, yeah,
Cush Zone.
Backlar was deep in the Cush Zone a couple voicemail dump trucks ago, huh?
I was up to my neck in it. Let me tell you.
Man,
put it under your butt, not your
I want to give everyone like some inside baseball here, a peek behind the curtain. These three gentlemen that I'm joined with, I'm endlessly thankful to be joined by these three gentlemen. They make me terrified of life. They talk about houses that I'll never buy. They talk about children that I'm dreading. Now they're talking about pains and crap. What the hell am I supposed to do? Am I gonna?
There's nothing you can do. Just do some fucking jumping jacks for the next 10 years and hope you avoid this.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And an apple a day, and 1,000 jumping jacks.
Apples and jumping jacks. That's how we live our lives over here.
We call them apple jacks. Go for it, Jan.
Hey, listen, you might as well get used to the taste of Metamucil right now, baby. Let's just go.
No. Look, you know what spells the end for me? I had to buy Pepto-Bismol the other day because my tummy hurt, and then I was like, no, it's all downhill from here. I'm gonna be worrying about my children soon.
Pepto's the least of your problems, dude. Let me tell you. Well, what are you worried about, Jan? You're in relatively young shape.
Who knows what happens? Dan. Dan's like mostly vegetarian, and then he got a blood clot out of nowhere. That's terrible.
You know what? I think my biggest tactical error was that has led to everything I'm feeling right now is
all
during
the cheese.
Well, no, the lifelong diet, of course, that's a part of it. But I think in terms of the back and coccyx pain and all that stuff, and tweaking my back,
I know why. Because you have the posture of like a flamingo.
The posture's bad, yes, but worse than that,
very good posture.
Specifically, the last 3 years of fucking streaming from at first a couch and then a lazy boy. When I'm working from that all daytime, and then I go into like long streams and podcasts deep into the night, and I thought a lazy boy was supposed to be like good, like comfortable for your body, but you're not just supposed to be in it all day. So I think that was my problem. So now that I'm like up and moving around and carrying stuff and traveling and shit, my body's like, whoa, we have not prepared for this the last 3 years. So you're supposed to like not being a lazy boy all the time.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is.
When you bought that thing, Dan, I was very excited for you. And then a week later, I noticed that every time I saw you, no matter what, you were sitting in that lazy boy like the fucking people from the robot movie from Pixar. What is that?
Wall-E.
Wall-E.
Oh,
yeah. And I was just like,
Bug's Life.
Dan, this is probably going to... You know what I thought? I'm like, that would be a problem for me. Maybe Dan's built different. For me, my hips would be sliding out of position, and I would be in physical pain pretty much constantly if I was like living for like a week in one of those chairs. Although I did just buy one of those chairs.
Grub, guys, please, okay? Listen.
Gerald.
Nobody in their wildest dreams could have predicted what was going to happen to Dan Reichert and his crumbling body. Nobody in their wildest dreams could have imagining sitting crisscross applesauce for a dozen years straight.
Good job using the correct name.
Thank you. Would have completely deteriorated your entire spinal column and everything involved up in your guts. I'm kidding, Dan. You're in good shape. You're fine, and you can totally reverse this. Let
me ask you this, because I'm moving into the new house in like a month. And so
no chairs in the new house.
No, I'm setting up. I'm conceptualizing the stream room right now, and I'm figuring for stuff like this or any podcasts or meetings where I'm not actively playing a game. I have a gaming chair that's supposed to be contoured, ergonomic, whatever. Or even better, standing desk. I'm looking into standing desks right now. Okay. And then I keep the lazy boy in there, but that is only for when I am actively streaming out or playing games on my free time. I am playing games from that chair. I am podcasting from here. I'm doing meetings from standing or a gaming chair. Like, this is an upgrade, right?
Yeah. Dan, how is your balance?
I did yoga for years and years and years. I still occasionally do. Balance could be worse, I would say.
Okay, I think you should get one of those balance boards.
Those are sick.
What about one of the big like sphere ball things? I know Gabe Newell had one of those. I saw it in his office once.
Well, isn't that you just sit on that versus like a balance board with like the ball on the bottom? You're kind of like using your core the whole day.
Wait, are you supposed to be doing that during like meetings and stuff?
Well,
or, like, is that
if you get
is that like a
better
skateboard?
meetings, you do like when you're answering emails, you can do that.
Oh, when I'm just okay.
But then
No,
get
I'll
off
look
of
into
it
that.
when you're in in a meeting.
Okay, but just have it down there for when I'm not. Okay, I
have
look
a
into
desk
that.
on my treadmill, and it's when I was writing a lot, I would do that. But occasionally, I'd go into meetings, and I'd still be like, "Well, I'm on the treadmill. I'm going to finish this walk in this meeting." And then as soon as I would like talk, people are like, well, "Why are you walking? Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'll just stop." God, you don't make such a big deal about it.
There's like the ones you can get that are like upside down spaceships. Do you know what I mean? Or like it's like a UFO. It's like it looks like a plate, and there's a half of it underneath it.
Oh yeah. That's what
They're
I
like
think
set up
that's what-
ball things at the gym. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's just half that. Imagine like an upside down UFO, right? And you're just sort of like balancing on the plate. That's
Okay.
fine. Those are cheap. Get one of those if you want. I try and stand like an hour to 90 minutes a day. Like obviously do the first part of the bombcast standing up, because I was having back problems.
Walking is the biggest thing in terms of the exercise. Like just that walking that you said you're starting to do, Dan. That's
doing that
make the
every
biggest
morning now.
difference.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna make a
Yeah,
huge
good.
difference.
You can't.
Definitely.
I don't know if viewers can see it, but this one, good. Thank God for this little long dog for getting me outside and walking, because I don't think I've seen the sun in a while until this one. Jesus H Christ. It's God. I'm even more scared of life now because
All the same, if you see me standing up or anything and moving around during the podcast, I'm being healthy. So
Yeah, and with me, it's because my tailbone's excruciating. So
get in the cush zone.
Get in the cush zone, baby.
Push zone for the push zone.
Hey, here's a question, not for y'all, but I want the listeners right now to tell me whether you're watching live or the archive. When is the last time you properly stretched? And I just want that to sink into your head, and then I want you to stand up while you're listening to this podcast and fucking stretch, please.
Stretching is so good.
Stretching
I love it. It feels so good.
Oh yeah. Let's
Yoga's awesome.
Let's all lean to the left, just right now, just like 5 seconds. Right. 3,
Yep, okay.
2. Yeah.
Oh,
Work.
That's good. That's good.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee in the big time on the left side.
in the
baby.
Big time. Oh man.
Get that cup of coffee on your left side.
Cup of coffee on my left side. Grub, you still good to do the news now, or should we do it later as planned?
Yeah, let's fucking go, brother.
All right, brother, here's the music. Started the news with it. That's the podcast with the news. That's what I meant.
Lay it on me, Grub.
Yeah, we're starting with the news today. We figured we'd get this out of the way since in the game we've been playing a lot of games, but it's like mostly catching up on stuff because there was a slight, temporary hold in big releases, so we had a chance to do that. In the meantime, a lot of news popping off, including judge ruling in favor of Microsoft in its battle to acquire Activision in the United States. Kind of go through the details here. A California judge has allowed Microsoft to proceed with its acquisition of Activision Blizzard after denying the Federal Trade Commission's request for a preliminary injunction, basically just a halt to the deal. Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley stated that Microsoft has made commitments to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation and to bring the game to the Nintendo Switch, as well as entering agreements to bring Activision's content to various cloud gaming services. The court ruling concluded that the FTC failed to demonstrate that the merger would substantially lessen competition, pointing to increased consumer access to Activision content. There was a bunch of comments from Microsoft executives saying, hooray, basically over and over. The other shoe dropping on this is that the UK, the CMA, which has blocked the deal in the UK, which is the Competition Markets Authority, they're equivalent to the FTC. They put out a statement saying that they are looking to work something out with Microsoft now that the FTC has been defeated in court. We stand ready to consider any proposals from Microsoft to restructure the transaction in a way that would address the concerns set out in our final report. In order to be able to prioritize work on these proposals, Microsoft and Activision have agreed with the CMA that a stay of litigation in the UK would be in the public interest, and all parties have made a joint submission to the Competition Appeal Tribunal to this effect. Basically, Microsoft was appealing to the Competition Appeal Tribunal, and they're dropping that. They're going to pause that because the CMA and Microsoft are basically going to work something out. And that's because now that the FTC has had this sort of loss in court, Microsoft is almost certainly going to go through and close the deal in the United States and in most places in the world, and then they would have bypassed the UK. And in the end, that's probably something the UK didn't want, because it would have kind of left them out on the benefits of this deal, which is going to be people getting more access to these games in more places and for less money, essentially. This does seem like the big final point on this. Of course, we've said that before, and things keep happening. But this does feel like a point in this process where it is done. It is going to go through, and the deal should close by July 18th, which was the original deadline. That's next week. So I don't know. How are we feeling now that we're at the end of this? Just kind of relieved?
Grub, I celebrated this when I saw the tweets pop off for one reason, and then I immediately felt bad afterwards. I celebrated this because I thought, we are finally done hearing about this. They're just fucking bottom. Get it over with. We're done. We're not going to hear any more news on it. And then I realized, no, this is going to continue dominating the news for what seems like forever. Also, follow-up question, Grub. Every time you say CMA, I think of the Country Music Awards.
Same. I do too. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but just to go on the record, I never think about the Country Music Awards.
Okay, no, that's important
Ever.
to know too. I'm glad you clarified that.
It's not.
What are your
important.
thoughts on Joe Diffie?
Not important.
Okay. Diffie, unimportant. That's what we say here.
Are you in Diffie?
Oh God.
Jesus.
Jesus is right. I'm gonna become religious after that joke. My God.
Pretty good.
Maybe we should end the podcast.
Maybe
that's it, everybody. Thanks for
Someone's
listening.
trying to tell us something.
Basically, though, the deal, like I said, should go through Microsoft and Activision could begin figuring out what that actually looks like. We'll see if there's any sort of like big fallout from that. But for the most part, it seems like most of these things have been ironed out already. And a lot of that comes down to the FTC putting the pressure on Microsoft to get their pieces into place. And effectively, the judge said this during the actual court case for the preliminary injunction. In many ways, the FTC has already won. The things that like Microsoft would not have agreed to had it not been for regulatory pressure, for example, all those deals with other cloud services, saying, hey, we'll put every Activision game on NVIDIA, NVIDIA's GeForce Now cloud streaming service, giving Nintendo a 10-year deal, offering a 10-year deal to PlayStation. That stuff would not have happened without the regulatory pressure. So basically, these regulatory bodies have gotten a lot of concessions already. And so that made it much easier for the judge to say, we don't need a preliminary injunction, and for the FTC and the CMA to kind of be like, okay, we pushed this as far as we could. Now it's time to sort of let this deal go through and figure out what it actually ends up looking like.
I think the wild thing that I'm thinking about it now, Grub, is two things. Did Sony ever agree to the Call of Duty? No? Okay, they didn't, huh?
No, so early on, it was offered to PlayStation, like a 10-year deal that guarantees Call of Duty would come to PlayStation. Sony never agreed to that. For one, they didn't want to be put in the corner where it's like, you've already agreed to this. But also, why would they have to agree to it? They know Microsoft's going to keep putting out those Call of Duty games on PlayStation because that's where they make the most money. Mm-hmm. So they always knew there was no chance Microsoft was going to pull that. So they never had to agree to it, which gave them that slight advantage of trying to break up the deal in court and saying like, oh, this deal isn't good enough. And really, the deal didn't matter. It never was going to affect anything because Jim Ryan knew deep down Call of Duty going to keep coming to PlayStation no matter what happens with this deal going through or not.
The second thing I wanted to bring up, Grub, is it seems wild that they announced that they were increasing the price of Game Pass. Now this happens, and that the Game Pass just becomes, I don't know, like if you have an Xbox console, it seems even more so like a no-brainer if a lot of the Activision catalog is headed over.
Well, that's the other side of this, that we can kind of move past this deal now and start thinking about a world where Activision's actually fully incorporated into Microsoft Gaming. And what are we looking at for maybe even this holiday? So they already had Starfield, Microsoft. What else could they put in Game Pass? If this deal closes July 18th and they could start figuring this stuff out, that gives them plenty of time to get ready for Call of Duty to be in Game Pass. Now, maybe not this next new Call of Duty because it has a co-marketing deal with PlayStation. So that co-marketing deal almost certainly has language in the contract saying it can't go to Game Pass for a certain amount of time. But all previous Call of Duties can go in there, and you can add like benefits to joining Warzone, the free-to-play Call of Duty stuff. Diablo 4 can go into Game Pass here really soon. There's a lot of stuff that they can immediately put in there, and then they can start, making announcements about, hey, we have plans for these other studios that we've just acquired, and stuff like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Like, I'm dreaming now, but like that kind of stuff. That like, hey, that's on the table in a way that it just was not when it was Bobby Kotick running Activision and realizing that the best chance he has of making the most money is getting every single person in the world to work on more Call of Duty. Microsoft has a different incentive structure with Game Pass, and having a variety of games in there is a benefit to them. And Activision's got a lot of stuff they could pull from. So I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft very quickly starts moving in the direction of supporting those studios in ways that they don't all have to work on Call of Duty.
How wild is it that Crash Bandicoot, which I associated as a child with PlayStation,
yes,
is soon going to be under the Xbox umbrella?
Yep, Microsoft owns Crash Bandicoot.
It's
Yes,
like
that
when
is
Doug went to
bizarre.
Disney. That's wild.
Oh,
Yes.
Up is down, left is right. I can't. I just
oh my
can't.
God.
People are asking in chat, like, do they own the Sekiro IP? I think From still owns Sekiro. Maybe that could be wrong. But I think, why would From have ever given up any of its IP? They were in such a strong position by that point that it seems weird that they would have given the IP rights to Activision. They probably have first right of refusal on a Sekiro 2, though. They probably do have that. So that could be something they could try to make happen in the future. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that this gives them the potential to work with a lot of studios like Toys for Bob on some, Microsoft IP, like Banjo-Kazooie. Like, give that to one of these teams that's done 3D platformers, a bunch of really good 3D platformers recently. Activision's got a lot of those, and they're like the one other publisher in the world that does have like multiple teams that do pretty decent 3D platformers besides, Sony and Nintendo. So it's like, okay, yeah, maybe some cool stuff can happen here. The other
update
side of this,
from one Timur Hussein: Activision has Sekiro.
Oh, okay. So they do own the IP to Sekiro. Thank you, Timur. Wow. Okay, that's so yeah.
Tam
that's
just perched up on his like office chair and just needed to text that,
Of course.
From news
Yes.
came in.
Yes, I appreciate that. But yeah, we'll see what happens next. It's a big deal, but it has been a big deal since January of last year. Now we've been dealing with this story, so mostly it's just nice to scoot past it. The CMA likely going to get a few more like concessions. That is what Brad Smith, one of the vice presidents at Microsoft, has said. He's like, we disagree with the ruling of the CMA, but we are going to go back to the negotiation table and see if we can restructure the deal one more time to get past this hump. And I bet both sides will have to sort of compromise. But Microsoft will probably make one or two more big concessions. I guess we'll see what those look like. But right now, who knows?
Update
right.
from Tam.
Yeah.
No, wait, I'm wrong. It's From.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay,
Hey,
thanks,
you
Tam.
get it right in the end. That's all that matters. That's all that matters, Tam. I appreciate it.
You got there, buddy.
Yeah, you got there. Still though, first right of refusal probably for Sekiro 2 over at Activision. So there you go.
It's okay, Tam. It's okay.
It's perfectly okay.
But he knew a lot about From, right? Didn't he know a lot?
Well, listen, he's one of those fake fans of From,
Yeah,
right?
I get
Totally.
it. I get it.
He's gonna call me now, man. He could bop into here.
Yeah, you can absolutely. All right, let's get to some of these other stories here. Black Panther game confirmed at a new EA studio called Cliffhanger. This is something that we talked about almost a little bit more than a year ago on Game S Mornings. It's finally confirmed now. Electronic Arts has announced the development of a Black Panther game by their new internal studio, Cliffhanger Games. Cliffhanger Games was established in 2021 and is led by Kevin Stevens, former boss of Warner's Monolith. The team at Cliffhanger Games includes veterans from games such as Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, as well as Halo, God of War, and Call of Duty. The Black Panther game is being developed in collaboration with Marvel Games and will be a third-person single-player experience. The goal of the game is to make players feel worthy of the Black Panther mantle through unique, story-driven gameplay. The development is still in its early stages, but the team aims to build an experienced and diverse team to create an authentic Black Panther experience. EA previously announced a deal to create several Marvel-based games, starting with an Iron Man title developed by Motive Studios. The Black Panther game aims to provide players with agency and control over their narrative in a definitive and authentic way. The leaked information suggests that the game will be a big open-world title where players take on challenges of becoming the new Black Panther after the previous one's demise. Now, people might be remembering, wasn't there already a Black Panther game announced? There was Captain America and Black Panther during World War II. That's an Amy Hennig joint.
Oh.
So, yes, and so that's still happening. And I can't remember where it's happening at another studio. That's not EA related, but it obviously all falls under Marvel Games. But that's going to probably be Captain America, Steve Rogers, and then T'Challa's father from in Black Panther lore.
Okay.
And then this game's going to be you becoming T'Challa. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're related. They could be, but probably not. They could be. But either way, like, it's going to tell a different version of the Black Panther story. So I'm excited about this because I like the idea of more big single players coming out of a publisher, single player games coming out of a publisher like EA. Beyond that, though, I'm like very skeptical about big licensed games still. Even though many have hit and been some of my favorites, including Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And if they can get to that level with this, I'll be very happy. And EA is on a bit of a burner when it comes to these single player games. They had, I think Star Wars Jedi games have been very good. And the Dead Space remake was very good. I don't know. What are you guys' hopes for this? Jan, I know you're a comic book fan. What are you thinking?
I don't know, Grub. I feel like I'm on the fence here, where I do like the character of Black Panther. I did like Wakanda Forever. I think I'm finally starting to feel the superhero fatigue, despite really enjoying Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'd love to be wrong, Grub. I think, is it too late capitalizing off of the popularity of Black Panther? I also feel weird around the whole IP of Black Panther after Chadwick Boseman passed, and I know that they're not going to include his likeness in any of these games, but
no,
I can't help but have that shadow loom over the IP, or specifically with Black Panther.
Who would you want them to bring in to do a Black Panther sort of performance in a game? Some people mentioned that Chris Judge did a good job for Black Panther in the Avengers game. I think that's right. I did not play it, so I'm going from memory.
Yeah, I mean,
like, that's pretty good.
I completely forgot that they released that Black Panther DLC. Chris Judge is great. Let Chris Judge be Black Panther.
Yep. All right, let's keep moving. Sonic and Balan Wonderworld creator sentenced in insider trading case. Yuji Naka, a former Square Enix employee, was sentenced by the Tokyo District Court for violating the Financial Instruments and Exchange Act in an insider trading case involving Square Enix. We've talked about this story a whole bunch before. Basically, he was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. That was a suspended sentence, though, meaning he will not go to jail. That will instead be looming over him as a potential threat if he were to violate his 4 years of probation, or if he were to commit a similar crime, which I guess would also be violating his probation. That's, again, 4 years. He is, he had insider information by looking at a database when he was working at Square Enix on Balan Wonderworld, and bought some shares in companies that were making new games that were unannounced for Square Enix.
Whoops.
Yes, very, very illegal. Also, kind of a one that's hard to get out of bed for, as someone who's like, someone did some insider trading somewhere. Oh well, but it's still very illegal. He also had to pay a 1 million yen fine or something like that. 2 million yen fine, which is about $200,000, right? I think something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just has that laying around.
Who's got that Balan Wonderland money, baby?
Actually, I think I think the fines actually added up to about $1 million. Now that I'm like pulling from memory now, and it's like, yeah, I always wonder that, do these game creators have $1 million in the bank? And apparently, Yuji Naka might have had that kind of money.
Damn.
Well, if Yuji Naka has that money, some of these other creators must have a ton. I guess we did find out Shigeru Miyamoto gets paid about $2 million a year. So
He should get paid more.
That seems low.
Yeah, get more than that. Come on.
So Shuntaro Furukawa, the president of Nintendo, gets $2.5 million a year, and someone pointed out that Bobby Kotick gets $150 million a year. So like 60 times more or something
Wait,
like
that
that.
guy sucks and Miyamoto's great.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
Dan, you've
That should be
solved
the other way
capitalism.
around. What
Yes,
the hell?
You're right.
That
Yep.
seems unjust.
Yes, it seems a little unjust.
Wow.
Yep.
He made Mario.
Yeah.
And Bobby Kotick made people miserable.
Money. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
was
Money
made-
and misery.
Yeah,
Is it
what did
because
he
he was
make?
on Moneyball?
He was
Oh,
in
yeah, he
Moneyball.
was in Moneyball,
yes.
yeah.
Cool.
Maybe the best thing he's ever been involved with.
Can-
Moneyball's a good movie.
Can they Freaky Fridays? Can like Yuji Naka and Bobby Kotick Freaky Friday, and then like Bobby Kotick winds up going to jail instead?
I mean, that's a beautiful world that you've created there, and I would love to live in that world.
All right. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna get them to hold hands.
Of us figuring out how we Freaky Friday to people. I love that's. We're gonna do it.
Have you seen Weird Science? It's like a Weird Science situation.
Yeah.
It feels like we would start it that way, and it's just going to end up as a regular kidnapping. Just
Sure.
like, no, that's Bobby Kotick. It's like, sir, that's definitely a Japanese man. What are you talking about?
That's our goal now.
That's
We're just gonna get them to hold hands and say the same thing at the same time, have a mild disagreement, and then they'll switch. It happens.
It does happen.
Makes
I've
sense.
seen, like 5 or 6 different movies now. All right. 87% of classic video games are critically endangered of being lost. This is from the Video Game History Foundation, which conducted a study and found that, 87% of retro games are critically endangered. Only 13.27% of classic games are readily available. Consumers face challenges in accessing physical and digital forms of these games. Limited availability requires relying on libraries, vintage hardware, emulators, or piracy. But the first option there, libraries, face a lot of issues where if you want to host a library of a bunch of classic games, you can only really let someone come and grab them from you physically. They have to come on the premises to get them. And video games are inherently digital. And these experiences are being relegated to people who can have access to a library like that. And not every library is maintaining a retro collection. And also, like, they don't have like the hardware readily to hand out to everybody. So the Video Game History Foundation is looking to change the rules, the laws in places like the United States, so that they can do what libraries are supposed to do and lend out many of these materials digitally, so that people can have better access to them legally without having to resort to piracy. I'm actually going to have someone from the Video Game History Foundation on Game S Mornings on Monday to talk a little bit more about this.
Well,
But-
question, because
yeah.
as someone who's always been very interested in emulation and everything, like I feel like I've had a million bookmarks over decades that are like, this is where you get all this stuff, and then like give it a couple months and this link is dead, this got taken down. Why is it that is there something about the Internet Archive that like it always seems to have like, here's this full ROM set, here's this MAME set, here's like, and it's this big well-known site. It's not some like fly-by-night thing or whatever. Why does that seem to work out? Do they have some sort of pass as like an internet library, or what's going on there?
That's the exact thing that I'm going to ask them about, because they are facing legal issues right now, Dan.
The internet, or the way that
Archive
all that stuff, yeah.
is being sued right now because they lent digital books, and that they're really not allowed to do that. But they are saying, basically, we should be allowed to do that because we're trying to behave as the same way as libraries have always behaved. And we're just, we're modifying that for a digital age. But the rules are still for physical media only, and they haven't been adapted for digital books. So the Internet Archive presents itself as a digital library. It essentially is. It's an amazing resource. And really what the Video Game History Foundation here is talking about is enshrining rules to protect something like the Internet Archive, and to empower something like the Video Game History Foundation to take its massive stock of retro collectibles and retro video games and everything that it has on its premises, and back it up digitally for everyone to access from anywhere, which really, it's educational. Like, that's, I always, when people like say, hey, how do you feel about piracy? My big thing is, you only live once. You're going to have to, if you are interested in having a life that is built around video games, or you want to get involved in making video games or anything like that, go back and find a way to play these games however you need to, because you need to have that history. You need to understand where these video games come from, and it's not easy to do that in a way that is perfectly legal. And these companies aren't interested in empowering your educational experience, so take it into your own hands. We kind of do need rules to protect that, I think, and I think the Video Game Foundation is moving in that direction.
there are easy ways to play like the obvious, like Mario's and Zeldas and the stuff that like keeps getting re-released and showing up in these collections and stuff. But if I want to play Kickle Cubicle, it's like what are your options there? Like I guess I'm gonna go buy a copy off eBay and hope that I have a NES that I've maintained well. Like I'm fully with this.
Yes, me, and it's it's like all those license games, even like the big license games,
NBA Jam and
No
shit.
Mercy, NBA Jam, things that like we have Nintendo putting a bunch of their classic games out, and very rarely do we get anything that it has any licensed person in there or anything like that. And you can't just go to the store and buy those things. So what are your options? Well, we have ways to do it, but they are legally gray. A upstanding, upfront organization like the Video Game History Foundation is looking for ways to ensure that their long-term viability is tied to legal protections, and I'm hoping that they could pull it off. I am glad that this is where they're putting their efforts. I get a magazine from them once per month.
Yep,
like
same.
I might up my donation for that, and just like because I'm like, this is exactly where I want the fight to be. So I'm very glad that they exist and they're out there doing it.
Nice.
Sega workers vote to form union. Sega of America's Irvine office in California has elected to form a union, becoming the largest multi-department union in the video game industry. The union election resulted in a victory with a vote of 91 to 26. The official Allied Employees Guild Improving Sega, or AGIS, Twitter account announced the win. The 200-plus member union aims to build a company they love and will be heading to the bargaining table with Sega immediately. The decision to unionize was driven by low wages below industry average, lack of promotion opportunities, and issues with benefits. 1/3 of the longtime workers lacked full-time status, paid time off, proper training, and bereavement leave. The union seeks to raise pay, improve benefits, establish clear paths for advancements, balance workloads and schedule, and prevent overworking. This is part of a recent trend, obviously, of more and more unions popping up. This is, to go back to the original story today, one of the potential benefits of Microsoft acquiring Activision is that Activision was very hostile to unionization efforts, and Microsoft has at least publicly stated that they will recognize any union that pops up underneath them. And that is a stark difference between those two entities. But a lot of these people are going to have to organize unions in hostile environments. That's still going to have to be something they're going to have to try to pull off. And it seems like even when that's the case, that a lot of people are moving in that direction. Something that it was pretty unlikely, it felt like 5-10 years ago, when we would start talking about unions, and it's like software developers in a lot of cases, and a lot of people that make games, pretty independent people. They maybe even lean a little bit libertarian, and they want to be able to like make decisions on their own. It's like, oh no, that's changed. They realize that they have been getting screwed and that they have more power if they work together. And this is the latest evidence of that.
Cool. Love to see it.
Sega boss turns on NFT games. Sega has decided to abandon plans for creating its own blockchain games. That's going to be a key point here in a second. Its own blockchain games, but just stick with me. Shuji Utsumi, Sega's co-chief operating officer, stated that the action in play-to-earn games is boring and not fun. Sega will not allow its major IP. That seems to be an issue if you're trying to make a game based on that. Sega will not allow its major IPs such as Sonic the Hedgehog to be used directly in third-party blockchain games to preserve the value of its content. The implementation of Web3 technology in Sega's Super Game Initiative 2026 is uncertain. That seems unlikely. You guys remember the Super Game thing that they were talking about a couple years ago?
Crazy Taxi, right?
Crazy Taxi.
Was it Jet Grind?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Jet Grind.
Yeah.
There's Super Games. They probably won't end up having NFTs, but we'll still see.
I would play a Crazy Taxi Super Game. I don't want NFTs involved, but Super Game sounds fun.
Right. I mean, we have no idea what that means, and yet, Dan, I'm right there with you. If you told me, if you handed me something that said this is the Crazy Taxi Super Game, I would drop everything to go play it immediately.
Dude, I fucking love games. Imagine Super Games.
Nintendo had it right.
You can't argue that point.
The NES was pretty cool, but then they had the Super NES.
Yeah.
We almost had an Ultra Nintendo.
We almost did, yeah. They were too cowardly. Like, this isn't an Ultra. This is not the ultimate form of video games. Sega did say that they were like still let some third parties make NFTs based on lesser known Sega properties, and their examples there were Three Kingdoms and Virtua Fighter. And I continue to be offended on behalf of Virtua Fighter. That should be treated as well as Sonic, if not better.
Give Akira some respect, damn it.
Yes, that's right. This immediately goes into the next story, which is an NFT company announces it is making a game with a major Sega IP. This literally happened like the next working business day. Line Next and Sega have partnered to develop a Web3 game for the blockchain gaming platform GameDosi, which isn't a real thing. Line Next has signed a memorandum of understanding to obtain the intellectual property license from Sega for one of its popular video games. Line Next, a division of Line dedicated to NFT ecosystem development, will utilize the licensed IP to create a Web3 game. So I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know how that, like, it's just a weird dichotomy of like on Friday, Sega's co-chief operating officer is like, fuck those things. They're boring. And then on Monday, a company announces we're working with Sega on one of its IPs to make an NFT game.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Billy Hatcher, baby.
Okay, now listen, that
Space-
might get me on
Space
board.
Channel? What do we got?
Oh no,
Space
not
Channel would be
Space Channel. No, that'd be cool though. I mean, not a Web3 Space Channel, but a new Space Channel.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Line Next is the one saying it's a popular Sega IP, and so it's like they could mean that about anything. I think
Pat Riley's basketball.
Yes,
Ooh.
Tommy Lasorda baseball. Actually,
Yes.
that was the superior.
Back on board now.
VECTORMAN.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Dude, I would accept Web3 VECTORMan.
It's on
Kinda seems
brand.
right, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that
Seems
does
like
track.
VECTORMan got really into crypto.
Hey, Web3 VECTORMan can go into the doc for naming this episode. By the way,
I mean,
Maybe VECTORMan was always an NFT.
maybe.
It might
Yeah.
have been, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Hear me out here. Vanquish.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
You
Vanquish.
slide
I'll
through
take
the
no.
NFTs.
I like VECTORMan more.
Okay, all right.
Vanquish
Yeah.
needs to be protected from that. Bill Lambier
Yeah,
basketball.
yeah.
Was that a Sega? I don't think that was Sega.
No, Lambier was on the Super Nintendo as well.
Yes,
Combat
it was.
basketball? Yeah.
Combat basketball. Yes.
Combat basketball. Christ.
Man, yes, that was a hell of a time. It was like that was a really bad game. I loved Bill Lambier because I grew up in Detroit. So
Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball, my all-time box art. It's him slam dunking
yes.
a ball as a robot while punching a guy in the face at the same time. It's really good.
It's fantastic. All right, a handful more stories here. Emulators are working on retail mode Xbox systems again. Xbox Series consoles now support emulators in retail mode once again. Microsoft previously disabled the ability to run emulated applications on retail consoles. WEPON's store, which is like U and then the word weapons, has discovered a new method to run emulators on retail units. The exact method is not publicly shared to prevent Microsoft from closing the loophole, and also to encourage you to subscribe to their $2 per month Patreon to get access to this system if you want to do it. It is uncertain if Microsoft will take action against this new information. According to a video by Modern Vintage Gamer, your friend and mine, the method is currently functioning as intended, and it enables you to both play games using like the web-based browser emulators. Like there's certain websites that I don't name because I don't want them to get taken down that just like have every N64 game, and there's a play now button and you just click that and that will work on your Xbox. But you can also of course do local, hardware-based emulation right there by installing them individually if you want, including stuff like RetroArch and all, like the Dolphin, things like that, and they continue to run very well on Xbox Series S and X.
Cool.
You could always do this in developer mode on your Xbox if you were willing to pay a $20 fee to turn on development mode on your Xbox. But that is a separate thing, and it causes your system to behave in ways that are not optimal if you are someone who's normally engaging with your games like in a retail environment. You have to go back and forth. At least that's my understanding. So having these emulators just working on the retail mode is actually pretty cool.
Hey, Grub, I'm getting a transmission right now saying you almost killed a computer by leaving a N64 game open overnight on one of those websites. Am I hearing this correctly?
Listen, people will say a lot of things. I definitely did. My browser definitely did crash and cause OBS to mess up because I had a website open with, and I forget what game it was, but it was a really bad N64 game. Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm a smart man. Listen, I left Dolphin on our entire trip to LA.
Yes. Yes.
So
Oh my
yeah.
God.
You know what? Hey, tell me if I could have actually done any real damage here. So I set up. I'm in my temporary situation here. I brought my 3080 computer that I bought a few years ago. Because remember, I packed up. I got the 4090 and 3080. I got the 3080 here, and you guys told me to put a bunch of foam in there when I was moving it, right inside the computer
I know what
between the
it's saying.
graphics card. So I shoved this motherfucker filled with foam, and then for like 3 days I've been running it nonstop, and I forgot the foam was in there. Is that
no.
okay?
I
I
It's
just,
not
I
great.
just can't. I just can't. I just can't.
It's
Yeah,
for the record, it's
told you
not the
so many
4090.
times.
It's not the 4090 we got from lovely NZXT. It's the one I bought with my own money.
Well,
You've taken it out now, right?
Did that.
You took it out, Dan, right?
It's out now. It's
Okay.
No, it's still
literally-
there.
No. I'm holding it all here. Like I got
Great.
foam everywhere.
Yeah.
This was all inside there for several days.
Like, it's just what's
Were you running lots of
frustrating is,
games?
No.
Okay,
I played
then
a couple rounds of Fight
probably
Forever.
okay.
I played a little bit of Fight Forever.
It's probably fine. The frustrating thing, the reason
It's not
I'm
good.
struggling to find the correct words is because we had such a detailed conversation about this exact situation
About
playing
putting
out.
the foam in. You didn't tell me about taking it out.
Oh, that hurts me so much.
Look,
That
it
is-
stands to reason, but I wasn't thinking about it because we never talked about it. So
I hate when
ultimately,
things
this is
stand to
probably on
reason.
you. This is probably on Backlar. So if
Probably.
anything
No.
happens, I'll just expense it. And yeah, okay.
I think you're right, Dan. I think you're
yeah,
right.
thank you, everyone except for Backlar.
Two
Yes.
gen. Wow. I just like it's just like the thing's got glass on it, man. When you unpacked it, didn't you realize like
Look, there's a
the
lot of shit
cartoonish
in
amount of
most-
foam?
I've moved like 16 times in the last 2 months. I'm not thinking about foam in my computer.
What kind
I'd
of cooler
be-
do you have on your CPU? Is it like a
Kind of what?
A cooler? Is it like a tower cooler? Like
He's
a
like,
big
I took that out. It was too loud.
like a big thing of metal?
I got a
big standing
Coleman
metal, or
cooler. I
is it
put
like
some Bud Lights in
tubes?
it too.
Let me look. Wait, on what?
Just
What
ice.
part am I looking at?
Oh no!
Like,
Oh
not
no!
the GPU. It'll be like the other main point of
You
focus.
say the
is-
processor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the thing that's
CPU.
cooling
I know
the
what that looks like.
processor.
Okay, let me look.
Yeah, are
It's
there
probably
tubes
just
coming
a-
out of it? All right, he's
it's
looking
probably-
now.
it's probably a
it's like a
closed
bunch of
loop.
rainbow colors and it says Corsair.
That's probably the closed loop water cooler.
It's probably an AI. Yeah, it's probably an the AIO or whatever
It
cooler.
says
Yeah.
Strix, and that also
the
lights up all
motherboard.
rainbow. Oh, okay. Well, it just says Corsair, and there's like crazy matrix tubes coming out
It's
of it.
fine.
Okay,
you know
yes,
what,
you have a
Grub?
cooler.
We don't
You're probably
care.
fine.
We don't care what the
You're
fuck
right, you're
happens.
right.
I don't
Yeah,
give a
fuck
shit.
No, and it's
Give
two
a
tubes that
shit.
go up to the fans. There's the fans up
Yeah,
top.
Okay, so that's
and
what
there's
I'm
two-
thinking. You are
I don't think
probably
there's water
fine.
in it. I don't think there's water in it.
There is water
There's
in it, you
definitely- there's-
stupid
there's-
motherfucker.
there's
Yeah,
fluid
I
in it
don't
for
think
sure.
there is. There's
There's
nothing
definitely-
clear. I've seen the water ones before.
it's water inside the tube. The tube's a
Yeah,
rubber
it's
black
closed.
hose.
It's a closed loop. Yes, it's a liquid. It's not necessarily just water. Water would evaporate.
I've seen the ones
This
with
is
the crazy
this
like
is the
squeeze
big-
it
You're
juice.
fucking with it. You're doing this
I'm
on
looking.
purpose.
Do I
You're
send
doing
you a
this on
fucking
purpose.
picture? I'll send you a picture.
He's doing this on purpose.
No,
I
I'm
know.
not.
Nobody wants
You're
to
right.
hear mom and dad fight, but you're doing this shit on purpose. I know
No,
you are.
I'm not. I'll send you a fucking picture. Here.
All right, I would love that. Actually, send me a picture
All right.
and then I'll
I'll
fucking
put
yell
it
at
in
you.
the
'cause it's-
Discord. All right.
All right. Let's move along here before I go legally
Hey,
insane.
can we talk about him like he's not here for a second? You
Yeah,
guys,
definitely.
I'm not crazy, right? Like I'm reasonably upset right now.
No,
right?
I
Like-
think you're. I mean, listen. After how long you've dealt with
It's
it,
his
fine.
PC. It's his PC.
yeah, it's the one
you're
he
right.
paid for, right? So like, fuck him, right?
I paid for this.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Yes.
here. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, right. Like I just want
Oh,
to
yeah,
make
for
sure
sure.
I'm not crossing any lines. Like I can only take so much of this.
All right.
Like
GB
when you
crew
have it,
text.
you have it on 60 miles an hour for like 365 days a year. Like sooner or later you're gonna crash.
Oh yeah.
Sooner
All
or
right.
later
Look
it's
at
gonna
the
happen.
Discord. I just posted in the Discord.
All right.
All right,
Well,
tell me what I
can't-
got.
I can't look, but you guys look, please.
Yes.
Tell
This
me
is
what
why
I got.
Have a second instance of this open in a browser. Yeah, that's it's a closed loop cooler,
That's what I said.
which has liquid in it.
Oh, doesn't that when he does stuff like that? That's what kills me. He's like,
Oh, yeah,
that's
it's
what
terrible.
I said. He's like,
It's
that's what I
terrible.
said. I'm Dan Riker. I had the right fucking thing all along.
I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
getting some echo
Backlar
in my
melt-
own voice right now. Hang on. I don't even remember saying those words. What's happening?
Oh, Backlar melted for a second.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
just, it's like, it's so hard.
So,
it's so
is that a
hard.
yes or no? Did I fuck up my computer? I leaving the foam in there.
I mean, listen, you didn't help.
It's running right now.
It
You probably took a
remains
few
to be
days off
seen.
the life of the CPU. But
Oh, so wait. So does the CPU have like a bump card? So like at a certain point, like Jan, you know.
I
Does
mean,
my
you're
CPU
not
have a bump
wrong.
card?
You're
it's
not
taking
wrong.
Too many bumps. Yes.
Did I punch its bump card more than I needed to?
Yes.
Was he taking some like fucking like Edge and Christian Hardy Boys bumps that I didn't
You were
need
working.
to?
You worked stiff on that CPU a little bit.
Okay.
He
Yes.
All right.
he did a concerto, a shoot concerto when he didn't need to.
Oh, you don't want to shoot concerto. Okay.
Yeah.
We know better now. Okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
know better now. It's
Okay, I get it.
okay.
Okay.
It's like that Cody chair shot recently. It's like, oh, why'd you
At
do
the
that?
first Double or Nothing?
Yeah.
You
It's like,
didn't need to do that.
okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Yes.
Now I
Okay.
know how
So I'm Sean Spears. Okay.
Now I know how a Final Fantasy boss feels in staggered mode, because that's
You've
what's
been
happening to me
unlocked.
right now. I'm
Yeah.
just like so weak. I'm so weak. I've been
Yeah.
weakened to the point of
You
like
didn't hit R1 to dodge it, dog. That's what
no,
happened.
I'm just taking a knee, and I'm just like completely
Looking forward to the Turbo Sean edit with Backlar's HP bar going down every time I say something.
That's it. I'm finished.
Golf clap for that. I'm gonna enjoy that too. Okay, so emulators. Let's move on from that. Since this show is so such a well-run machine and is not in any way in shambles, let's talk about something that is. Borderlands movie sounds like it is indeed in shambles. The movie finished principal photography in June 2021. But
What?
since then,
That's a yikes.
Last of Us co-writer and co-creator Craig Mazin, who was a co-writer on the movie, has chosen to remove his name from the film. He's gonna Alan Smithy.
Alan Smithy! It's Alan Smithy!
It's gonna Alan Smithy that shit. Yes.
Explain that reference. I don't know.
Oh,
Alan
so Alan Smithy.
Yeah, please go.
Okay, Alan Smithy is when a movie is worked on a lot of times by numerous different directors or producers, or even just one director, and the movie winds up being really, really bad, and the director knows it. They want to remove their name from the film, so it'll be released as an Alan Smithy film. There was a whole movie about this concept that I think became an actual Alan Smithy film, which is crazy. I think Showgirls was one, I believe, because it was Showgirls. It was going to be, was it Verhoeven? And then it went to like Joe Estherfez or whatever. And then they wanted their names off it or something. Like, so it's basically a movie that's so bad that people are embarrassed to have their names attached to it.
So
Exactly.
This Borderlands movie is like, this is crazy, right? It's got Kate Blanchett,
Yes.
and Jack Black and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Do you remember
and
the,
friend of the
the-
site, Janina?
Yeah. Do you remember the set visit from E3 2021 when when what's his name? Fucking the USB boy, Magician Man.
Randy Pitchford.
Randy Pitchford, yes. When Randy Pitchford was just, instead of like talking about games, he like paid for a segment to be at E3 so he could show himself hanging out with Kevin Hart and like asking him questions, and him being visibly annoyed by being bothered by Randy Pitchford. That's the last time we've seen anything from that movie, really.
This
So,
is crazy.
yes. It took several years to secure a director and begin filming after the initial announcement in 2015. They did get that cast, like you said, Kate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis. In January 2023, reshoots were confirmed with a new director, Tim Miller, and a new writer, Zach Alkowitz.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait, so the pickups were a different director, or it's no longer
Pickups were a
Yes.
different director.
an
yeah.
Eli Roth joint?
Pickups were a new director. The current credited writers are Eli Roth and Joe Crombie, a pseudonym for Craig Mazin. So that's his Alan Smithy is actually Joe Crombie.
How fucked up is that?
Yes, Mazin's omission of his name suggests a desire to distance himself from the film. Multiple other writers have also contributed to the screenplay. The movie is based on the original Borderlands game, which should not require multiple writers, because that is
Hang on.
basically a very simple story.
So Craig Mazin is the one that wants to be off the
Yeah.
credits. Okay,
Yes.
he wrote Harland Williams' Rocket Man and kept his name on, just for
Yes.
a frame of
Yeah, but
reference.
maybe
here.
that was the one. Maybe that was the one here he learned. Okay.
The
No,
movie
that
where he
beats
farts
his
in the
bar, I
spacesuit, and the fart inflates the spacesuit. He kept his name on that one, but
Man.
Borderlands not so
I
much.
love
that,
the one-
that movie and Cabin Boy occupy
Oh
the
my
same space in my
God.
mind.
Exactly.
And I spent so many, literally years, trying to rent Cabin Boy from our rental store when I was a kid, and they had one copy and it was always rented out. So I still have never seen Cabin Boy, but I
you should see that.
eventually did see Rocket Man.
I love Cabin Boy being the only movie where Letterman appeared as a character just because he loved Chris Elliott so much.
Yeah,
and
he's
Yeah.
just got such a soft spot for Chris Elliott. Yeah.
He's a sock monkey salesman on a dock.
I do have a weird soft spot for Chris Elliott too.
Oh,
Also,
yeah, of course,
Craig
yeah.
Craig Mazin, just checking his Wikipedia site. What a great one sentence ending his early life paragraph. His roommate during his freshman year was future Republican politician Ted Cruz, whom he now often describes as a huge asshole. Which is
Cool.
so sick. That's very cool. Not cool is this Borderlands movie falling into what seems like disrepair. I don't understand. Like, look, making movies is impossible. It's amazing they get made, right? Just like
Yeah.
video games. I
Right.
think video games are probably harder to make.
They
are.
But this is mind blowing. Bobby Lee's in this too.
Yeah.
Save
Oh,
Bobby
boy.
Lee.
I don't know if
Randy
we need to save
Pitchford-
Bobby Lee. No, we shouldn't save
Yeah.
You don't
Bobby
like
Lee.
Bobby Lee?
It's not that I don't like Bobby Lee. It's that Bobby Lee hasn't done himself any favors.
Why? What did he do? Is he bad?
We should
I like
get
Bobby
into
Lee.
it.
Okay. Right this second, I like Bobby Lee. I don't know what else I'm gonna learn today, but I like.
We'll see what happens by the end of the day.
No, man.
Randy
God, I love that
Pitchford
one.
Oh, go ahead, please.
God, I hate it. I love that one Mad TV sketch where he's like, can I say this word? No, I'm Asian. I can say it. He's a rice rocket dude. So he loves cars,
yes.
and he's just like, his name is Tank. God, I love Mad TV. I'm willing to go on record.
Shit.
I loved Mad TV.
Well, now you're canceled too, Jan.
Damn it.
I was always more of an In Living Color guy.
That was great too,
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Let's okay. Yeah, Randy Pitchford. Last thing, Randy Pitchford was in charge of like making games, and he is like mostly left that position to go be this starfucker in Hollywood and make his movie.
Christ.
And you gotta. I mean, with that much competence behind the project, how could it be falling apart like this? I just can't imagine it. So,
Gina Gershon is also in this movie.
who's that?
Childhood crush Gina Gershon. Wait a second,
That's
Dan
not
Reichert,
Elizabeth
you don't know
Shue.
who the fuck Gina Gershon is?
No, I don't know.
What are you talking about? Yes,
Okay,
I
okay,
do.
Sorry.
I
Take
don't
it
know.
back.
Who's
Yes,
Gina
I do.
Gershon?
She's an amazing action film actress. Well, she was in not Con Air, Face Off. And
Yes.
she's just like, she's a babe. She's just
Showgirls.
like a
Okay.
quintessential
Oh,
babe.
wow. Yeah. Okay.
You don't know?
Watch Gia and Showgirls.
Mitch,
I think I know who it is now.
Mitch Shoot does not know.
Yes, that makes
For
sense.
real? Oh,
Yeah.
no. Well, my wife also worked with her recently,
wife.
too, and I enjoyed that. So that was cool.
Tim Miller might be a better fit for the Borderlands movie.
I think so too. He's the Deadpool guy.
He directed the first Deadpool. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's a
sounds
better fit.
right.
Yeah. He was also
Okay.
he also directed everyone's favorite Terminator: Dark Fate.
Okay, well,
I don't know how you like. It's amazing to me how people sort of like salvage movies that are in the can and like have all these different pieces all over the place. Like, my God, this seems almost insurmountable, and to like just have it be whatever it is at the end of all this, that's tough,
Last Action
man.
Hero pulled it off. Last Action Hero had an
Okay,
incredibly
Dan,
troubled development.
I don't think
but
this is going
Dan,
to be a
it's
Last
not-
Action Hero.
Yeah, and that's a different
It's not.
thing.
I
It's a
know.
different thing. Come on.
I know. I just any excuse to remind people that Last Action Hero is incredible.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
fair,
with
very
you
good.
on that, film
Yeah.
school boy. Like, I'm there.
Oh, if this
Um,
means that in like 5-6 years we're gonna get a 4:3 black and white cut of the
Yes.
Borderlands movie, sign me the fuck up.
Somehow still the Zack Snyder version of the Borderlands movie.
Yes.
Oh, God. All right, last couple of stories here. EA is starting work on the next Star Wars Jedi game. Respawn Entertainment is recruiting team members for a potential third Star Wars Jedi game. They are seeking principal game writer and senior VFX artist, blah, blah, blah. This was always the plan, is how I heard it. It's like as long as the second game did reasonably well, they were going to go into a third game, and then they would probably take a pause after that. And I think that's the right amount of these kinds of games, too. Like, you can keep doing more new stuff over 3 games, but after like 4 or 5, 6, like you get a real sort of a slim return on that investment over time. So I could see them being like, yes, we'll do the third one, and then we'll take that team and maybe shift to something else, and then come back to this many years later. But yeah, I expect that we'll probably be playing this in 4 or 5 years or whatever. And then finally, Capcom is leaving the door open to remaking non-numbered Resident Evil games. During a recent shareholder meeting Q&A, Capcom was asked about remaking non-numbered entries. They didn't give a super committal response. They did say, we are carrying out discussions regarding the future expansion of this series so it can be enjoyed by a wider audience. Basically, just them saying they've talked about it and they're considering it. They almost certainly have an idea in mind about what they're going to do with stuff like Code Veronica, right?
Oh, okay. That's what
Yeah,
you mean
let's
by
go.
non-numbered. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. So
That would be the first one. Yeah. I mean, there's
Right.
lots of them, lots of spinoffs and stuff, but Code Veronica would be like the important one, I think.
it's the one that makes the most sense. It's the right, you do get a return on investment from that, because that's like a lot of people care about it. A lot of people have talked about it, and a lot of people haven't played it, but have heard about it at this point. And so I think that would probably be the one they do. But there's other opportunities, I'm sure. What is
Yeah.
it, like a light
Resident
gun
Evil
game?
Deadly
Yeah.
Silence for the Nintendo DS.
Exactly, yes.
Back when everything had the DS subtitle.
Oh, God, I missed that. I missed that so
Gun
much.
Survivor. You got Gun Survivor.
Gun Survivor, right. 1.5 for Game Boy
Chronicles.
Color, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff there. Yes.
Dead Aim.
Yes.
Oh
Dead
yeah,
Aim.
I like
Yeah,
Dead
there you go.
Aim.
Outbreak.
We okay. That goes to the bottom of the priority list. but-
Okay.
Video game adaptations of the movies, right? We could do that going forward.
Jesus.
Oh man.
Did you guys?
That'd be a weird thing to start doing now.
Yes, that would be very strange. Did you guys see that the reference to the Resident Evil movie in Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
Is there any chance that wasn't a direct reference?
I think it's very unlikely that it
That's
wasn't.
a very non-Zelda thing to do, is to reference like a pop culture thing from outside
I think
Nintendo. Like,
Okay, so here like this is a spoiler. Back, are you going to be okay with the spoiler for
this
one
is not.
shrine?
It's not a serious spoiler.
I'll take my
Backlog.
headphones off.
Okay,
No,
there he
it's fine. It's fine.
So it starts off. You go in the shrine, and there's one laser beam at like ankle height. There's another one at head height.
Oh, I think I've played this one.
Yes, and the third one, it's like the checkerboard, and you need to like do the ascension up through there to not get taken out by the checkerboard. But and that's exactly the progression of laser beams in one of the scenes in the original Resident Evil movie.
Oh.
I don't know if that's. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
not
I
that
just-
crazy of a thing to be a coincidence, you know.
Yeah, it's usually I'm with you, but I don't know. Some part of me is like it's kind of so 1-to-1 that I feel like
Yeah, it could be.
like it could.
What
still be
if it was
coincidence.
what if it was entrapment? Because the way I got through that is I made Link do the thing
Oh.
underneath the laser. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Glad
it-
Link did.
entrapment.
Yeah.
But it is much more exactly like the Resident Evil scene than the entrapment scene, though.
Yeah, it did make me think of Resident Evil. I just,
Yes.
yeah.
Am I imagining a memory where Grub yelled at me to do the entrapment like Catherine Zeta-Jones? Is that
No, what the
I think
Catherine Jones
no,
that?
it would have
Sounds
been
like
during our thing, the laser defuse the bomb thing in Brooklyn.
right? Okay.
And
I definitely would have been yelling at you to do the entrapment thing.
I would have also been. I think it could have been anyone on this call.
Yeah,
Right.
I
I think
think
that's
about,
seared into our
that
brains.
laser entrapment thing pretty much every day.
yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Do
before
you
I go to
Do
bed.
you have a line that you do? I do the see my new movie, that one.
No, like what is that reference to? I don't know.
No, it's when what's his face? What the fuck's his name?
Sean
Connery?
Connery.
Sean Connery would like do a junket. He'd be like, "See my new movie, Entrapment," right?
Sure.
Right,
Yeah.
and then Catherine Zeta-Jones. That, yeah,
Oh, that's a good shot.
That's
you know,
very good.
it's all about the Sheta. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always yelling at Jan about his DSLs and doing entrapment things with laser beams. I'm sorry,
Get us a
Jan,
table.
I gotta stop it. I gotta stop all these things. All right, let's. That was the news. I'm handing the show back over to my good friend
Damn.
Jan.
Oh, whoa.
That news
gosh.
almost killed me. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, we found ourselves in that news segment, and I don't know if we like what we found out. So we're gonna go take a quick break, and just like a parrot, we're gonna forget and come back with some games.
日差しの中悠々しか見えない一年中が君の森キュンキュンキュンで始まる季節心は虹色キュンキュンキュンで Yeah, I'm good now, watch me go my way. No time to play now, yeah, I mistake. Back and forth, DJ, put it on replay. Yeah, all my girls on the floor, sashay. Coming through with the groove all day. Skirting off in the cool pie way. Top down, I feel the sun up on my face. Come on, my girl, and I won't make way. As she enter the arena, they say they like a misdemeanor. Like she a boss, she a diva. Oggi qui l'alternativa. You saw through the shadow of my doubt. Some might think I'm transparent, but I'm not that easy to figure out. Had your chance to choose a different route. This chaos didn't phase, just stuck around to find what
Games. We're gonna talk about games now.
Oh,
Games.
can't just go right into it like that.
I've never
Super
seen you do
games.
that.
Super games.
Super games.
Super
Okay, here we go.
games. No, it's still
That's
still
still
is
out.
chewing
Wow.
everything you say. Maybe they're hearing it fine, but Discord might be eating it
I
for
don't think
us.
they are. I
Okay.
also keep
No.
getting a DCP error anytime I hit the FX button, and all my stuff just reset. That's great.
Oh god.
Sounds great.
Love.
Don't
man.
worry, that thing's gonna be supported forever.
Yeah, it's
Yay.
a going concern, as they say.
Uh,
Don't worry.
the game that I'm playing right now and that I've been playing since perhaps 9 o'clock today is I have still yet to get tickets to the stupid Oogie Boogie Bash. I've been in a
Waiting for me.
queue since 9 o'clock. The queue started at 8:30, which I think is illegal. I think queue should start with the advertised time. All right?
Yeah, that's messed up.
It's dumb. I hate it. I don't hate Disney. We all know that, but like, they're really chiffing my chafes, y'all. Really chiffing my chafes.
Yeah, you could probably email somebody and get you tickets, right?
Yo, I'll come with a case of Diet Coke, dog. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay,
Like, how-
that's all I'm saying.
The guy.
Please,
That's the
please,
guy.
please. I'll rub your back. I don't know. Is that inappropriate?
Jesus.
A game that I've actually been playing, and I blame the boy Michael Heim for this. I've been playing Octopath Traveler 2.
Shane, you don't have time for that. Come
I
on,
don't.
man.
I don't. But then this dude tells me it's like, yo, shouts out, bro. It's like, bro, it's one of like the best like turn-based action games. And I'm like, yo, that's my language, dog. And he's right. It is so good. It starts very similarly to the original Octopath. Where you have a choice between several protagonists to start your journey, and your protagonist will have a unique ability in the overworld. I started with the cowboy looking dude who his ability is like, I can just buy from anyone for like specific items and stuff, and I can swindle and hustle people. Yes, exactly. Howdy, partners. And the combat system is very similar from at least my memory of it. I didn't finish Octopath Traveler 1 because it burnt me out really, really fast. But here it's a turn-based action RPG as the first one. But if you expose a weakness to an enemy, like one of the first instances in the tutorial bit is, oh, this guy's weak to lances, and then you'll break his shield, and then you'll get a little pip where you can do an extra action or like a more powered up action. You can boost yourself.
I like that kind of thing.
And I love that type of stuff. And then you'll wind up doing more damage, or you can take an extra turn, and it's great. And then as soon as like you start building up your party and then actually exposing weaknesses from the get-go, you are just cooking the whole way through. There will be battles where you're just rinsing through people and the enemy hasn't even moved yet. It does get a little bit repetitive, and it does get a little bit tiring once you face like a boss, just because by virtue of health bars and shit, they're just stronger and everything. I've been enjoying my time so far. I also forget that all of it is pretty much voice acted outside of like little interactions with NPCs. The problem is I can tell that this game is going to be stupid long.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how long are the chapters compared to something like Live Alive, which I know is from a different era.
Yeah.
But like, still, like that was I enjoyed the demo of that because it felt munchable. I felt like I could actually like get one of these pieces of the game and get through it relatively quickly. And I do not get that sense from the little I've played of Octopath Traveler 2.
I don't think it is going to be the game where you can finish this by clocking in a couple hours a day, 1 or 2 hours a day, or every other day. Octo's right. Live Alive, in comparison, is very short. Especially some of those chapters, they are actually bite-sized. Here in Octopath Traveler 2, specifically where I'm at, I've maybe put in 3-4 hours into like I've probably put in 10 hours altogether, split between 2 to 3 characters. Oh God, thanks, Michael. 81 hours and 21 minutes for him to fully complete the game. That's fucking wild. I don't have the time to do that, but I have really liked where I'm at. I've liked it more so from the original Octopath Traveler. Also, I forget the developer behind this one, but man, they really, really nailed the 2.5D look to this. Like,
yeah, I think I always thought Octopath Traveler was the best looking one of those until this. I think they improved it even more with Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah, and I kind of want to put more time into it because I just want to see where it goes. It's also on Steam. It's currently part of the Steam Summer Sale. If you're mildly curious about checking it out, that on Steam Deck, absolutely perf. The story is mildly hooking me, so maybe I'll be caught into the loop of that.
Is it hooking you more than the first one did?
Oh, 100%. I think also I'm a mark for cowboys, so
Sure.
having someone mildly adjacent to a cowboy is dope. So
a cowboy in a JRPG, there's something special about that. There's something that gets my motor running when I see a cowboy in a JRPG.
Final Fantasy, just make a cowboy spin-off.
Just like Rising Zan, Samurai Gunman.
I have not.
That's the one.
But that's
right,
now on the radar.
That.
Yeah, Hangman.
Rising Zan, Samurai Gunman. He goes out and becomes a samurai, but then comes back to the Old West, and he's gonna, lay down the law.
Okay.
Make
With
that
a samurai
Final
sword.
Fantasy 17 right there.
Yes.
Final Fantasy 17. Yeehaw, buddy. I don't know. Okay. There's no possible segue here. Okay, I got it. I got it. No.
Okay,
I got it. I
no.
got it. I got
Okay,
it.
no.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It feels like I've spent a week with all the time that I've put into Octopath Traveler 2, but it seems like, Grub, you spent 6 days in Fallujah?
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 right there.
Thank you.
Surprisingly well done, Jan.
9 out of 10.
I've tried this game. It came out. Did you guys know this game came out?
I didn't know
Wait,
it came
6
out.
Days of Fallujah came out?
Yeah.
Yes. Came out
Wait,
like
the
2
like the
new-
weeks ago.
original one, like the one that they were working on.
Well, as games tend to do, it changed over time, and I think like even like a different development team. But a game called 6 Days Fallujah that is part of that lineage came out on June 22nd, 2023 of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Wait, the one that is it the same? Was this the follow-up to Full Spectrum Warrior? Am I remembering that right? Was it the same devs,
I
or was it just
don't-
that same era?
I don't know if it's a follow-up to Full Spectrum Warrior, but it
Okay.
is. So it's okay. So here's the premise, and this was always the premise. So it is still that game that was promised originally in some key ways. It starts with like a PBS-style documentary video of
Oh.
talking to U.S. soldiers who were in Fallujah, and
Like real.
real people, real infantrymen, and that stuff is. It feels very educational. The concern was always, and for my time with the game continues to be, I'm very early. I'm still on the first mission, but the concern continues to be, well, there are more people involved in that than just American soldiers. Are you going to talk to the people who are on the ground from the Iraqi side? The civilians that lived in Fallujah that were dealing with the insurgents, as well as the U.S. military. And I have not seen a single person interviewed from that background yet so far. I don't think that means it's not in there. It probably is, because they said throughout development that they would try to get that. But there's been like 20 different soldier dudes talking so far. So it's been, and again, I am of the opinion for this sort of thing that video games have the capacity to handle something like this in very deft hands.
Well,
And
what about like The Line? Is Spec Ops: The Line maybe one of the better ones that's like actually tackled issues in a way that didn't feel super exploitative?
Yeah, and I think it does that through its story. It does that through mechanics, and I think that but it's also fictionalized. But it's
Yeah, that's the
fictionalized.
thing. Yeah.
And so I think it's like okay to play with the truth of war when you're not dealing with the facts of real humans beings that actually died. So you start up the game though, and it's you go through these little documentary scenes, and they set things up, and there'll be like a full motion graphic map of here. The soldiers from the U.S. military and the Iraqi military are coming from the south, and they're going to clear out every single house in Fallujah to get rid of every insurgent, because people are coming from all over the world to fight Americans in Fallujah. So you had to go door to door and search every single room, and they show the graphic of what that looks like. And then the mission starts, and it's trying to be a very tactical and realistic thing of you cannot go out and walk in the middle of the street. You're not going to be able to run at these guys. You're going to have to stay behind your cover, your mobile cover of this armored tank, this armored vehicle that you're standing behind, because there's a man in a mosque tower with a sniper rifle shooting at you, and you do not have your character does not have the battle engagement rules to shoot someone at a religious site. So you have to just avoid his fire, and you can't fire back. And it's like, I don't know how accurate that is. That sounds like something that would have happened, but I don't know. But at least like it sets something up, and I'm like, okay, how do I feel about this? What does the game want me to feel, and how do I feel about it? And mostly it's just I'm kind of annoyed and frustrated because it's kind of a miserable experience. And it's not miserable in like, oh, I feel what it's like to be in the boots of someone who is fighting in Fallujah. It's nothing like that at all. I don't. It's mostly just, oh, I got shot again. And I have no idea where from. And listen, I think that is a realistic sounding sentence. Well, of course you wouldn't like. So that's how it works in war. It's not the feeling I'm having actually while playing. It does not feel realistic in that way at all. So. I don't know. I was mostly curious to check this out because it has about 4,000 reviews on Steam, and it's very positive. Like that's the rank it has. And that's like one step below, like overwhelmingly positive. And I read a lot of the reviews, and a lot of them are like, red, white, and blue, and Budweiser's gay, and stuff like that. So, but there's a handful that are also like, hey, I fought there, and most of this stuff is fair. And then there was so like one pretty detailed review from someone who claimed to have been in the military and fought in Fallujah. And they had like a list of like, actually, this game's a bit undercooked still. And that's really kind of where I'm at. It doesn't feel great as a game. And I don't mean that necessarily, oh, it's not fun. I never really expected this game to be fun. I don't think it's great as like using its mechanics and its metaphors to get its point across, which I think is the purpose of this game. It's not great at that either. So I want to stick with it, but I'm just kind of stuck here at this beginning because it's it's weird trying to get this tank to move alongside you. It moves when you move, but if you move
Just
2
like
feet
that?
ahead of yeah, just like that. But if you move 2 feet ahead, you're gonna get picked off immediately and die. I guess the idea is maybe to play with other people, but I really don't. This is not the kind of game where I'm like, oh, let's go in there and have
Let's party up, get some beers, and hang out.
Exactly.
Fallujah.
That sounds insane.
It's not gonna happen.
What are the two options there? The two options are, one, you get together with your chuckle fuck friends and you chuckle fuck your way through 6 days in Fallujah, which is weird. Or the other one is equally as weird and bad. Maybe your bros take it super seriously and role play being soldiers in Fallujah. No, thank you. Yeah, neither of those sound great to me. So I'm just like, Spec Ops: The Line, I think, is a great example of games handling subject matter like this in a way that was deft hands. So I know it's possible. This one always seemed doomed for failure, and I think here we are in a world where it doesn't actually work all that well.
Doesn't sound like what I come to video games for.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be true for most people. For most people, this is an easy, like, oh, that came out? Okay, I don't care. And I think most people should pass it up.
It's a good job of breaking that down, Grub.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so it's a weird one. It's a weird game. Mostly the weirdness is that game actually somehow released. That's really bizarre.
Yeah. There's like a historical curiosity to it. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's about it. Yeah.
Well, going from something that sounds bad to something that might actually be good. Jeff Backlar, I'm assuming you put this on the list. Final Fantasy is good?
Okay. So I've been playing a lot more of that. And I really enjoy the combat. I think the combat's fun as hell. I'm like nailing all the combo stuff really in a satisfying way. I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh, get the ukulele out. He's going to apologize.
But these fucking cutscenes and the whole look, like, I'm Mr. You're not paying close enough attention to stories in video games.
Yeah,
okay?
you are the one like when someone like, well, I think you said like someone skipping cutscenes sounded insane to you.
Because like someone was cutting, like, I don't know. I don't think these cutscenes are as good as something as like a Naughty Dog game, right?
Okay,
where
but
like
I think they are more integral to the experience of this game.
You're probably right.
Than even a Naughty Dog game.
You're probably right. Well, here's the thing. Naughty Dog makes movies and puts and like shoehorns a video game into it, right?
Yes.
Where this, I'm sorry, it is nowhere near as interesting watching this little Joffrey motherfucker like turn into a bird. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. It's just not that. Like, it is putting me the fuck to sleep. Okay, and someone just said it's very anime. No, I'm an anime expert right now. Okay, I'm getting all the way through Cowboy Bebop, which is my new favorite anime ever. New episode hitting this week on Jeff's Bizarre Adventure. I love Cowboy Bebop. I've always loved it my entire life. It just so happened now's the time I'm choosing to talk about it. I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And that's it. That's the only animes I've seen. I saw season 1 of One Punch Man. That shit was cool too.
Chaser, he's not saying that Clive is like Joffrey. He's saying Clive's brother is like Joffrey.
Yeah, the little Joshua freak. Okay, listen.
Joshua. How does Ben Starr say Joshua? Joshua.
I just like it's so and it's so Game of Thrones. Like, it's so Game of Thrones in a way that I just don't care. I just don't care. You know what? It almost feels like it's not important.
Oh, damn.
Listen. The game's good. The combat's good. Man, the whole packaging, it's beautiful. Answer me this. Is this what Final Fantasy like has been? Like, is this what it is? No, it's like turn-based, right?
Nah, it's not really turn-based in a long time either.
But this is just an action game with like
it has always had bad stories though, Backlar. So
man, I am not ready to ally. I'm not ready.
No, we're together on this one here. You and me, buddy.
It's
you and me.
Not good. It's just not. I'm sorry. You guys are all. You're like Jen. You're telling me like, oh, this story, everyone. And I'm watching these motherfuckers, and like it's also fucked up. This huge dragon kills the kid. Like, what are we doing?
Backlar,
What
the
are we
only
doing?
the only one I ever played through, the story was I was a guy and my dad turned into like a space whale. Like, it's very, very stupid.
It's just like, I don't know, maybe because I waited like, almost 3.5 decades of playing video games to only now insert myself into fucking Final Fantasy bullshit. But like, dude, maybe I need to maybe play these games first thing in the morning because they are literally putting me the fuck to sleep. These cutscenes are so mindless and drawn out and needlessly overwritten. What are we doing? What are we doing, Final Fantasy people? Okay? I'm sorry. It's just a lot. It's just a lot.
A lot of words that mean nothing ultimately.
Like, I don't know. I just think like it could be more interesting. It could be more interesting.
People want me to put a stop to you, and I mean, it's fine. It's a good game. It's fine.
Yeah, the game's good. Like, I'm enjoying. Hey, guess what, everyone? In a vacuum right here, I'm enjoying Final Fantasy. What is it, 16?
Yeah,
16.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. All right, I'm enjoying this one. It's fun. I'll probably bring it up again at the end of the year. When we talk about things, I'm not gonna really support the game's story at all because I'm trying. I'm watching them, Jan. I'm not skipping. I've skipped a couple, but I'm not skipping the majority of them because I also know what the fuck's gonna happen too. I also know what's gonna happen.
It's
All
very
these motherfuckers
predictable.
are gonna get fucking shanked. I know what's gonna happen. Okay, it's Game of Thrones. It's sort of predictable.
Okay, to be fair, it does become less Game of Thrones after those. That's the main setup. Like once you get past those first handful of hours, it like becomes very Final Fantasy, which I don't know if necessarily is a good way to sell you on it.
Well, listen, I want more whatever the fuck Final Fantasy is, and less of like Final Fantasy LARPing as a Game of Thrones thing.
You'll get that.
Okay, so then maybe I'll start.
Soon.
Look, I'm not gonna fucking I don't turn off the cutscene until I've reached the point in the thing where I'm like, well, this is stupid. I wait till I get to that point. I don't just needlessly skip stuff.
What's the last big thing you fought? Like big thing you fought?
I had I fought like a woman in a pit. And then I fought the guy I fought her with. Yeah.
Okay.
I fought like what feels like a dozen bosses already.
Okay.
Did you?
And
fight...
the game's also kind of easy, I think.
Oh, it's very easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is that okay? I'm just really good at games also, so I thought
it is easy to its own detriment. It is. It would be a better game if it was a little bit more challenging. I think.
Like it's interesting because all the things I want out of from games, right? Where like I want the fucking freaky deaky bosses and the amazing environments and settings and stuff, and then like having those boss battles where I really get a good look at these weirdos that I'm fighting. Like I love that, and I love that Final Fantasy sort of like makes it easy for me to have all that. I think I almost think like the story, even though most From stories are like indecipherable, I just like I think that's more interesting on its face. But I am getting like some of the things I wish I got out of From games in Final Fantasy, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is really amazing, big, bombastic boss fights.
I love that.
Are the thing that to come to this game for. I think they look amazing. For the most part, I did get bored by a couple of them, especially the icon fights, where it's like just big things punching each other really hard over and over, and there's not a lot for you to do there. Like, yeah, it makes it feel like you're in control, but it's like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. But I don't know. I am much more into the story than you are, Bacalar, and yet I'm like, what is the story? It's just revenge.
Yeah,
It's
like
just
what
revenge.
is it? I mean, I've also never seen a game use so much chromatic aberration in a way where you're like, I'm still not sick of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that sort of rainbow effect thing.
I had to turn it off on Cyberpunk. That's the game that had the most of it for
That
me. and
too
it,
much of it?
actually drove me insane. I had to turn it off. Yeah.
It's like a J.J. Abrams movie with like blue lens flare, right? But like this, for whatever reason, I think it's done in a real tasteful, controlled way. I think the packaging is awesome. I love all of that shit. I'm a sucker for like the sort of UI, if you will.
I don't know, I still feel pretty similar to how I felt in our quick look. So if you want to check that out, that's how I feel.
I think I've just been sold more. I feel like I'm slowly becoming Michael Heim, and I'm loving every second of this game. I can't wait to talk about it later throughout the year, and
Are you,
later and throughout the year.
Have you beaten it, Jan? Or you?
I had to look up a walkthrough as to where I was at because I was like, man, I've been playing this game for quite a while. How long am I in? And then I thought I was like close to the end. Nah, I just hit the halfway mark.
Okay,
Really?
That's
See,
discouraging.
I'm not going to be able to finish this game.
I don't think so.
I think I got it working on a handheld so that I could play it that way. So I went to be in front of the TV, and that's helped some. But I'm also like fully back in on Zelda.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I'd actually just put Final Fantasy 16 down.
I think that's what'll happen. I think like I'm glad I got to the point of playing this game because up until recently I was like, I'm done. I'm just bouncing off this altogether. But I hit a point where I'm like, I'm having fun in the game parts.
I need to ask the audience here though, because I'm a sucker for side quests, but I think I just want to get like just beeline through the story. Are there any particular side quests that like you get like? I mean, this is a stupid question, especially for Final Fantasy, but is there a very important side quest that I shouldn't miss that will give me a very important weapon or item? That being said, the game is much easier and less punishing than previous Final Fantasies. All right, I'll just text Michael later.
It's very easy. I already know. I'm like, this seems too easy, but that's okay. Also, to your
Plus
point,
signs.
Grub, I really like I got to the point where I'm like, okay, this is a game I'll continue to play, but like Zelda, you're right, dude, just keeps drawing me back in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be playing Zelda the rest of the year. Like I
It's
don't
been
see
2 months now, right? What was it? May 12th? Was that when it came
Yeah.
out?
You guys,
Jeez.
who's beaten it?
I am 100 hours in. I've done like 100 shrines. I've done all 4 of the main dungeons, and I have a quest to do now after I finish the 4 dungeons. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I am
Are
wondering.
the dungeons temples?
Yeah, the
temples,
4
temples.
main ones, the regional
Okay.
phenomena. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm being told, hey, go talk to this character at this place.
Same
And I'm
here.
worried about doing it because like I want to have all the powers for my last, 20-hour mop up of all the rest of the shrines and
okay.
everything. So I don't know, like, if I go talk to this character, if that's going to kick off the whole rest of the game, or if I have a chance, like,
I think you're still
to get a new
pretty
power,
open. Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's still pretty open because someone mentioned to me that while the game presents itself as like you need to do these things before you go to the end of the game, you actually maybe still can go to the end of the game right away at the beginning.
Well,
So it's
I
like
want to have
having-
everything before the end.
Oh,
I want to have
same here.
all the powers,
Yes.
all the, everything. So that's what I'm trying to
I'm
do.
120 hours in, but I'm otherwise I'm pretty similar to what you are. I played without the HUD on for half of that time,
Wow,
and it was
nice.
very fun to explore. But this is definitely a game where you eventually you have to turn the HUD back on because there's so much. Like I see that, I got to mark that, and then I have to be able to see that marker every time I bring up
Yeah.
my telescope. But I've gone back down into the depths, and I think I'm going to clear out the depths. I think that's my
Damn.
plan.
I am too. I am too. I'm
having-
close, I think.
You mean
It
get
is-
all the light roots? You mean? Like,
Yes, that definitely. I'm definitely doing that. And but I mean, I also want to see if I can like find all the like the hidden clothes items that are down there and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it has been so satisfying to fill out that map because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because it's fun to explore and occasionally, not always, but occasionally you stumble across some weird thing. You're like, what even is this thing down here? It's like something called the left leg monument. I'm like, what with the left leg? And then I found a right leg monument, and I'm like, is there something above ground that's like part of the body? I'm gonna go check that out soon. I have no idea, but it's
so
like
good.
it's all so mysterious and well done that I'm really enjoying that the exploration aspect that was the whole driving factor of Breath of the Wild. They replicated that in the depths, and then there's this up above ground and sky stuff where there's like, no, there's just a million things to do of all kinds of different variety, and I'm still really working with that. So just an amazing game still.
It's insane to me that I'm 100 hours in now, and I am still, every time I'm playing it, I keep having the thought in my brain that like, yeah, this is definitely the best game of all time, right? Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like in my head, I'm like,
Yeah,
this I don't think. I'm trying to think of what could even compete with it. It's like, no, this is the best video game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I know I feel crazy, but I'm like starting to get comfortable with saying that too. I think so. We're playing it. We're very like we had. I think the idea of like discovery is so well executed in this game, and that's what I think for me is really that's the carrot on the stick, right? it's interesting. We are playing it, so like he's obsessed with these temples now, and I'm like, yo, there's only 4.
The
So like,
shrines? The big
no,
ones.
the
Okay.
temples, right? So like
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
knocking on the door of the water temple. I can tell like we're just leading up to that, and just want to make sure. Again, there's obviously no wrong way to play anything, but like I want to make sure like I'm still gonna be able to like do a lot more of the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't even gotten like one of the skills, like the skill, right?
Oh.
So like it's the one that's not a skill and more of just, you
Mhm,
know, the
mhm.
sort of
More of a quality of life thing.
yeah, we still haven't
Yeah,
gotten that. And
Okay.
I don't know how that happens. Maybe that happens beating the water temple. I don't know. But I just can't believe how much you constantly find yourself finding new things to do, right? Where you're just like, all right, well, that seems lucrative and I want to explore that down. And then you fall into a well and all of a sudden it's like a whole new thing. And then you're inside of a ball that has a shrine inside of a ball and you're like, oh, cool. That's the best.
You know what's crazy is like a lot of times like I'll find a cave or an area or something. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go through this and see what I get. And at the end, it'll be like a topaz or like a bow I don't even want and don't even take. And I'm never even like upset because it's always just like the act of getting there. It's like that was fun. The whole the journey is the reward thing. Like absolutely applies every time here.
Yep, I'm just continue I'm pushing forward, and there's always 5 or 6 things like in the back of my mind. I'm like, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. I mean, hours and hours and hours ago, dozens of hours ago, I found the Forbidden Forest, the
like Lost Woods area.
Lost Woods. That's what.
Yes, yeah.
And I found, I went in there, and it's like it said something to me about like, oh, you know, you don't know what you're doing yet or whatever here, and maybe we should come back, basically. And I'm like, now I'm like, I don't even remember where the hell that was, but I know I need to get back there because I have a pretty good idea of what's in there. And I'm like, okay, that's maybe why I'm in the depths, because I got the idea of like, get down there, explore down there, and see if there's, because I've learned a lot in this game that's like, especially because those maze things, the labyrinths, those are connected about in the sky, on the ground, and in the depths. And the connection between these 3 levels is so strong across so many of the major puzzles in the game that I'm like, I'm going to keep exploring that and looking into that. So that's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, that go talk to that person after the 4 temples thing is also the biggest thing calling me. But I'm going to keep exploring.
I don't want it to end.
Dan,
me neither.
Have you pursued the Master Sword yet? Have you come across that?
I have it.
Okay.
And that was, look, that series has always had some like all-timer getting the Master Sword moments. Holy shit, I won't spoil it, but geez. I think about like, like Link to the Past, like as a kid, going through the woods and the light shining on it and the squirrels and stuff running around. That was magical. Ocarina, pulling it out for the first time. Wind Waker, the like underwater thing with the old music playing and everything. Like there are always like these huge moments in Zelda games. And maybe more than any of those was just like, holy shit, they went for it with this one.
I was thinking this after I watched Across the Spider-Verse, but I was like, man, kids right now, so stupid lucky to like.
So lucky. I told him, I said that exactly to his face. I sat him down and I grabbed him by the ears and I'm like, listen to me. 2 amazing things have happened this year.
Yep.
You have to appreciate this.
I mean,
like,
Addie's 4 and she just, I'm going to play Ink. I want to play Ink. And she sits behind me and she just starts, and she like is piecing together just like the basics of how to play, but she is picking up the basics of how to play. And it's like, this is going to be the game that she probably plays throughout her entire childhood. Because it's like, as she pieces together, like, some skills of how to play games, I think she'll be able to come back to this and keep discovering, like, oh, that's how that works. Like, she's just, she sees that she has these powers, and the idea of doing multiple button presses to get like Ultra Hand working is like, she understands the final process of that, but all the minutia that you have to do to get it to work is still a bit of a mystery to her. So it's like she wants to mess around with that stuff. She just doesn't know how yet. But just exploring that world and having fun in it, like a sandbox, though, she's doing that, and I think she's going to build all these memories that when she comes back to them, like, oh, I remember when I was a kid and I was doing these things in here, and now I missed all these amazing things that the game was just telling me to go do because I didn't even realize it. So, I mean, that's how I felt about the original The Legend of Zelda, playing that as a kid, and that being too complicated for me at 5-6 years old, and coming back to it repeatedly for years and years until I was probably about 10 or 11, could fully grasp what was going on there. And I think I played Link's Awakening, and that like unlocked everything. Like, oh, this is how games work. I understand. Like, you get an item, and you use that item in this dungeon to solve the puzzles, and then you use that item on the boss. And like, okay, now all these games make sense. And I went back to the original Legend of Zelda and was like, oh, I get this now, and it's even more magical because it's something I've been playing for so many years. So I'm right there with you. Kids are so lucky that this is where games are at.
Totally.
Another thing I think is really great about it is that I was kind of bummed at first when I realized that the release date was kind of like right when I was about to kick off like months of being like super in flux with my living condition. Like I wasn't going to have like a home base and a TV. I'm not going to have the proper setup because like Breath of the Wild, I sat the entire time, no portable, straight up, just I got a surround sound, 4K TV, all that stuff. And here I've just been playing it on planes and Airbnbs at friends' houses, things like that. And I really don't feel like, I mean, maybe part of it is just because the Switch is never like, it's not like I'm losing this like 4K high fidelity thing or whatever. It's the Switch. But I think it really works incredibly well portably. Like it's very good for like, okay, I've got this, 1 hour connecting flight. All right, that's like it's a couple shrines I can do. Like you can pick it up and do a couple little ones, or like last night I played like 6 hours straight. It's very, very good for portable.
Yep, and it looks great on the OLED. Yeah,
it does.
Do you guys know anyone who has finished it?
Minotti has.
Yeah.
Sean has, I think.
Talking about normal.
I don't know.
Game S, we did a Game S Game Club where like the community tried to beat it, and they all mostly beat it, and that was last week. So, yep, I think I probably, in a world where we got this game early, I probably would have rushed through it at that time. But getting it after release and having that sort of pressure not involved, I think I'm very happy taking it at my own pace and playing it and coming back to it. We had those 8 days we were in LA or whatever, and that like I took a break that entire time. And knowing that it's a game I can come back to after a break like that and get back into it made me really solidify the idea that this game is untouchable for me for Game of the Year this year. Yeah. And puts right up there one of the best games of all time. Because a lot of games, even games I love, going back to it after a break like that, it's like, okay, I don't even know. This one, no problem.
You can't say it's untouchable for Game of the Year. You don't know what kind of patches PUBG is going to have.
That's true. You're right.
Well, look, I mean, also, I feel like I silently agree with you. I think the most interesting story is probably like 2, 3, 4, 5, right? For this year.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that what we did last year, that top 20 list, and then kind of going from there.
Yeah, that was dope.
Eurovision
style. That top 20, Eurovision style. Yeah. Figuring out that top 20 is still going to be very fun.
Hell yeah. Everyone's still talking about Spider Heck. Listen, I just a moment that I have to like share, and it's just one of those like just good quest moments, but like, and we streamed this too. It was when you had to like find the island that looked like a fish.
Yeah.
Right. And
the
like
sky one.
Yeah, and just letting Dylan kind of like drive that, because I'm still playing, but like every now and then he'll grab the controller and be like, "No, I'm looking at this," and just seeing his face and his reaction when the stones lined up to form the tier, and just like him being like, "What? This game's doing that?" And like obviously that's not a new thing. We've all seen similar sort of techniques in that. And then like I almost like muted the microphone, and I'm like, "You see how Roblox could never do something fucking cool like that?" Do you see how you're just like spamming some like egg button in Roblox for 14 minutes? And you see what just happened here in Tears of the Kingdom? Like, come on. Okay.
He's like the best game designers of all time, just caring about you so much and spending years of their life crafting the most amazing
then you play Tears of the Kingdom
and over.
Dude, like the other morning, he's like, "Hey, Dad, can I have 4,000 Robux to buy 8 billion diamonds?" And I honestly like,
what is the economy?
Yeah, I poured my water on all over his head.
You gotta bully these kids more, Bacalar.
I was just like, who the fuck do you think you are, little kid?
That's the exact right answer to that question.
I spent a half hour having so much fun the other day on one of those quests where you're supposed to bring the green crystal to the shrine or whatever.
Oh, I love these so much.
Yes, and it was a straightforward one. It was just like a lake, and I was like, all right, I'm going to put down a big board. I'm going to put 2 little boards underneath it, kind of flotation things, 2 fans on the back, and a sail, control, thing, whatever, got it. And I got it. I got it moving. I think I got it like flying a little bit and then crashed into a rock or something happened and it fell apart. And so I'm in the middle of this lake and it's just like boards over there. This thing's over there. Okay, there's a sail and there's a fan that's just kind of spinning around. And I'm like, I'm going to try to salvage this thing. I know I could have like, reloaded and gone back, but I was like, no, I want to see what I can do here. And the green thing sank. So I also had to figure out how to get that out. So I'm like balancing on one board. I'm like ultra handing another board to fish it out. It's like, okay, the crystal is too far down for me to grab it. So I took long boards, put them together, stuck it in the water to attach it, brought it up. And then I'm like, fuck, I don't really have anything to stand on. And I tried to like, okay, let's attach the crystal to the one tiny plank I'm on, and I'll put the fan on the back. I lost the control stick, so hopefully I can just start this, and it'll take me to the island that I need to go to. And I take it, and I'm like holding onto this board, and it's like whipping around everywhere like crazy. I'm just cackling playing this. And I was like, no, I'm gonna fucking do this. And it's just all these like comedy of errors, and I wound up doing it. But it was 30 minutes just fucking around with the physics, trying to get like a rock to a shrine. And I was just loving it.
Hell yeah.
God, I wish we could all sync up and like find one of those like world quests and all of us stream our point of view to like how does like the four of us figure it out, because that sounds amazing.
That's the best part, right? Where like I love people saying like, "Oh, that is not how I did that." Like we're just big ascend boys. We just love ascending, even where you feel like you're not supposed to. Yeah.
You know what I start using a lot of is the rewind ability.
Oh, you could cheese the shit out
of
that.
Yeah,
That's great.
like I'll send something flying one way, rewind it, throw the crystal on, and then it'll boom be over there.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
It's like an elevator whenever you need it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man,
what a good.
Yeah, this is.
It's
game's
magic.
all right. The game's all right.
It's magic.
It's magic.
One of the.
Okay.
I think it's. Yeah, I think I'm with you, Dan. I think I came to this conclusion pretty early on, but it's just like, nah, this is one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah, it's
number
one with a bullet for me.
14-year-old system.
Not even done.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so like the wild thing is like with I have a propensity for turn-based games and tactics games because like my hands are stupid and like they tend to hurt and my hands get tired after a little bit playing something like Final Fantasy 16. And there's just something about Tears of the Kingdom where like the combat is not so demanding, or you can kind of just like weasel your way through any and every combat situation where it's like, all right, my hands don't get tired. Let's fucking go, because you can just really approach anything in like the dumbest way possible. Like I think there was one of the towers, like the Assassin's Creed towers, that was like surrounded by bokoblins. It's one of the early ones. And I was like, man, I don't got anything to all my weapons are shit. I'm literally fighting with sticks. And then, you just glue a bunch of bomb barrels to a bunch of other stuff, and then it's cleared out. You're good.
Yep. I love that when you're just like on top of one of those things, like, well, let's shove them all together and drop it and hope it goes right. Like, then it just go flying everywhere, like bokoblin horns everywhere. It's like, hell yeah.
And then like it's like, I haven't tried throwing this before. Let's try throwing this. And it's like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
We should. We talked about this on most bombcasts for the last several weeks, and I like it. But maybe next time we talk about it, it should be a spoiler cast. I don't know.
Oof, schedule that for 2024. The way I'm going.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know.
Maybe end of July. Well, we're almost near the end of July.
As we finish it, we'll just like ding each other as we like finish it and be like, okay, hey, I just I'm done. Where are you at? And then if we all kind of feel like talking about it at that point, maybe we could do something like that. I don't know. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be down.
It's fun to talk about this game.
Yeah. Yes, like the wild thing is like, I'm not the biggest Zelda fan at all. A lot of them I missed the boat on, but this is just like, oh crap. Like, well, maybe I should circle back and check out all the previous titles now. Like I played the ones that got on the GBA that came back and got re-released. Okay. And just like, okay, all right, maybe I should see what this Majora's Mask is about. Maybe I should see what this whole Ocarina thing is about. Or Wind Waker,
Dan.
I think Wind Waker and Link Between Worlds, I think is like, yeah, just go for it.
Oh,
the Wind Waker HD one is great. Twilight Princess HD, aged really well.
Yep.
Jan, yeah, that's what surprised me when I first heard you talk about how much you were loving this game.
Yeah.
Weeks or even a month or two ago, I was like, man, I never hear Jan talk about Zelda. And so to hear you talk about it being like in contention for your favorite is like telling to me.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. I feel like there's a lot of other folks that are in my shoes where, Zelda has never really clicked with them. But then this one specifically, holy smokes, I understand why people get Triforce tattoos and Master Sword tattoos. I understand it now.
Yeah, I think Majora would be a fun one for you because it's a weird one. Like a lot of the base, like mainline games kind of have the exact same formula. Like obviously we go from 2D to 3D, and some are better than others and everything. But a lot of them are like go to the dungeon, you get the 3 items, you fight the boss, you go on. Majora's maybe the weirdest one.
Right, because I
weird in
remember
really cool ways.
I remember Jess being like that being one of her favorite games of all time, and I remember Gersman just not enjoying Majora's Mask at all. And it's like, okay, well, these are two wildly differing opinions. I kind of want to see what this game is about. Also,
I think it holds up. The 3D version, especially.
Okay,
Yes. The 3DS version, yes.
All right, boys.
Okay.
Well, before we end the second segment here and go take a quick break, I want to know, since we're almost halfway through the year, we're pretty much halfway through the year now, is there anything that y'all have missed, or maybe like you just took a little dip into, that you'd like to circle back to before the year ends? I know my biggest one is Hi-Fi Rush. I
love
forgot.
Hi-Fi Rush.
And then Grub, you talked about it during the break. Fire Emblem Engage. 100% forgot that came out this year.
Yeah, I love Engage, and it's one I ideally would like to go back and complete because I just love the tactics in there. My answer to this question though is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I was really enjoying that, and then a whole Zelda came out, and we went to LA and all this other stuff, so I put it down. But as soon as I beat Zelda, I'm going back to that.
How has the PC version evolved?
They've updated it a million times. I've heard no one say it's fine now. Which is kind of what I've been waiting for. Maybe it is, but for the most part, I was playing on PS5 and it was running fine enough there. I'm okay with the performance. I was enjoying it. I know a lot of people were like putting it to the side until it was much better, especially on PC. And I don't know. People saying it's just okay.
Okay. Okay. Maybe that's enough for me.
Yeah, it's a very fun, good game. It's just beyond the performance issues.
Dan, you've been traveling a lot. Is there any specifics?
Yeah, well, I feel so disconnected since I've been so just on the road lately and haven't had a chance to even like see or hear about a lot of stuff. And so, I mean, there are things that like I'll see people mention that I don't even know what they are. Like lately, BattleBit and Only Up. I keep seeing just posts about it. I don't even know what those are. I saw like clips of Grub you playing. Oh, okay, that shows how I'm still trying to figure out what those are. But then there's the actual ones I've heard of that, like Final Fantasy 16, Jedi Survivor. I want to play more Fight Forever. I'm sure by the time I get back to Fortnite, it'll be a totally different game. I haven't played it since like April. So yeah, Zelda has been great because it's the only thing I want to play right now, but also it's the only one I really can in terms of being like a Switch game that's the one thing I can consistently play the last few months. So, but no, I'm sure there's a lot of little hidden gems and stuff that I have not even heard of that I'm going to need to mop up a lot once I get in the new house.
BattleBit, we checked that out on UPF last week. Mixed impressions across the board.
Oh, really?
After all was said and done,
It's Battlefield 3 with Roblox characters basically, but it's it's
a Roblox type thing.
No,
it's a Battlefield thing, but the characters look like Roblox characters. It's a low polygon version of Battlefield 3. Basically.
Is it EA? Did they make it?
No, it's 3 people. It's an indie game. It's really well made for 3 people. And if you have ever enjoyed the Battlefield experience, I think it's like a really good replication of one of those.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought of one that I already downloaded and I'm very intrigued by. I just saw the trailer, Dave the Diver.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes.
I started that.
That looks fucking wild. I don't know what's going on with that in that trailer, but like I got the Steam Deck, so I could play that.
I keep hearing a lot of buzz about that. I need to. That's top of the list for me too.
I didn't want to like get into yet another game, so I started it, and I'm like, I'm putting this to the side because it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm so hooked immediately, and I didn't want to get hooked, but it's the loop is very obvious. Like, you run a restaurant during the night, and you run the restaurant based on the fish you catch during the day when you go diving. Ooh. And as you improve your restaurant and you make more money, you can use that to buy resources to dive deeper each day. So you're going down. The loop there is obvious. It reminds me a lot of SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Dig 2.
Okay.
And
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Right, and that's a perfect game in my opinion, SteamWorld Dig 2. So it's like I want to I could see how that loop could be very addictive, but I'm just like I don't need one of those games when I'm still playing Zelda. So I might return back to Dave the Diver later.
I might check
Chia's the other one that I really want to spend more
Oh,
time.
she was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, she was
And
great.
I got the ROG Ally, and I'll get it installed on there because I was having trouble installing that on the Steam Deck. So I'm like, I'll just play it on the Asus ROG Ally and play it there. But yeah.
Bacalar, anything that you want to circle back to as soon as maybe Tears of the Kingdom wraps?
I think I'd like to maybe just boot up Ragnarok again and just kind of like mess around there a little bit.
Okay, no, that wasn't this year. Okay.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was it for this year? I don't think so.
Did anyone here play Dredge?
No,
Yeah.
I know Lucy liked it.
No, yeah, Lucy's
It's
all about
good.
it.
It's good. I mean, it's one of those things like you said earlier with Dave the Diver, where like you see the loop and it's a good loop, but it didn't keep me going past. I think I played like 4 hours of it or something like that, and it's there's some annoyances, but overall I think it's pretty solid.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Honestly, like I don't know. There was like Dead Island 2. Like I feel like I wanted to get more out of that a little bit.
It was
It's
fun.
always waiting for you.
Yeah, it was good.
System Shock is another one that it's like I really loved playing System Shock for like the 2 hours I could give to it, and then we did the quick look, and I'm like, man, I was enjoying that so much. I wish I can go back to it, but Zelda came out a couple days later.
You know what's
I just thought of the two biggest ones that I can't
please,
believe I forgot to mention. Right when all this shit started, it was Diablo 4 and Street Fighter 6.
Oh,
so like
shit.
I played a little bit of Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4 we did that stream of, and outside of that I haven't touched it. So like once I get all set up, like those are like top of mind.
The one thing I definitely won't be going back to is Resident Evil 4. I've already played that game. I don't need to play it again.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with
Agreed.
that one. I feel like I want to see it through, but I don't have to. You know, a front runner for number 10 on this year for me, Wolong Fallen Dynasty.
I really liked what I played of that. Yeah,
It was fun, and every time I see it on like the Steam front page, I think like, oh, it's Sekiro. Oh no, it's not Sekiro.
No. What was the Monster Hunter one?
Wild Hearts.
Wild
Yeah,
Hearts. I
that
like
was.
that too.
You know, that's another 10 game. You know.
Yep.
Oh,
All right.
Jesus
I was trying to be a good boy.
Christ.
I was trying to be a good boy. I saw that shit-eating grin as he antagonizes me. If you don't play more of Resident Evil 4 on your freaking free 4090.
Oh, what happened?
I didn't do it.
I agree with him, but you can't just barge in like that. My goodness me.
Oh, that was a drive-by. Holy shit!
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
Who was
I
I was
didn't
that?
do
gonna
it.
take my scolding.
I don't
was
know.
ready to take
I don't
my
know who
scolding.
that was. Yeah.
Who was that?
I don't know. There's
No,
no way to
I
know.
mean, who was here?
There's no way to know.
And check.
There is no way to know. You
I don't
what's
know how to
coming
do
out?
that.
You know what's coming out in August that we haven't talked about? I used to love that game, Moving Out. Remember Moving Out?
Sure.
Yeah. That was
The
fun. Yeah.
sequel, Moving Out 2, is coming out in August. That's a good.
Nice.
That's a good. Fun,
Oh,
what we're
okay,
excited
okay.
about. Oh, I thought the Grub family was excited about Moving Out too, like I am.
I am. I don't know if she is, but
That's
yeah.
a fun little game. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, that might be a fun like party thing. But yeah, I will probably boot up Dead Island 2 again, see what that's all about.
You know, I
And-
might
and I never
give-
touched Metroid Prime Remastered. I never touched it.
You're
Oh.
a son of a bitch.
I know. I just who's got the time? I'm just
I
a
might,
normal man.
Make time for the best game ever made.
I might give Redfall a fourth chance.
Fuck
What?
you.
What are you
Jen.
talking
You're
about?
full of shit, this guy.
Pikmin 4 is coming out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Remnant 2 is coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
we
I'd like
have
to see
more
that,
games
yeah.
happening.
Exo
You're gonna go back
Primal?
to like that D tier shit.
Oh
Did you-
God.
that was for real, Jen?
No, of course not.
Okay, good. Okay, cool.
Okay,
what I thought.
all right, hear me out here. I don't know why I now have a morbid curiosity though for Immortals of Avium, like the hand
Yeah.
sign flashy spell game.
Yeah.
I just yes, I think on paper or at least like trailer wise, it looks interesting. I've yet to hear one person say, "Hey, you know what looks okay?"
I think someone
'cause
said
I
they played it at Summer Game Fest and did enjoy it, and then
Okay.
in all the trailers, it looks insufferably boring to me.
Right.
It looks so generic, but
But maybe it's good. We'll see. I don't
yeah,
know.
maybe.
All right. Well, that's it for games, folks. We're gonna need to take another quick break and figure out this murder mystery of who kicked Tolkoto Mike Minotti.
You know what? No, I'll say it. It was me. And you know why I did it, Jan? This is a shoot. Because I did that a couple times as a fun gimmick to come in here and start yelling about something during shows before. And then I realized it puts more work on you, Jan Ochoa, because you're recording specific tracks and you have to edit this stuff. And I don't want to create more work for you. So I see Mitch come in here and do that. I'm not going to stand for that. You do enough work. You don't need more on your plate, Jan. That's why.
Are you wrestling him at the next pay-per-view? Like, what's happening?
No,
I don't even know.
He's gone.
Wow. Wait, I think I can, like, perma-ban him. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, come in again. We'll do it. Let's test it. Yeah.
I do
No,
want to
I'm
point
not
out
gonna
two things. Dan's heart is in the right place.
Yes.
And the other thing is, Dan is not paying attention to anything that happens in his life. Dan, are you recording an individual track right now?
No, but Jan did tell me. Oh, wait. Was that on VMix? Was that? No, Jan. There was a time that I did that once, right? And you said, oh, when you do that, you come in and you don't have a track recording or something like that, or there was something you didn't have an ISO or something, and it fucked something up, and I have never done it since out of respect for you.
Well, guess what? You can do it now.
Processes in a way. Oh,
Yeah.
I can do it now?
Sick.
Well, shit, now I'm going to do it all the time. All right.
Yeah,
I'm just going to do
fine.
it better than
Totally.
Mike. All right.
Yeah, Dan. I specifically changed the process to accommodate for that.
Oh,
Yep.
shit. I'm going to start doing that all the time now. Okay. I've been holding off. You know how many times I've been sitting there watching something like, oh, I should jump in, but that's going to fuck up the track.
Nope.
Oh.
It's all good. All good.
All right.
That's
All right.
right.
Yeah, coming
Good
to
job,
you
Grub.
next month at the next premium live event, Mike
So
Minotti.
it's okay for me to jump in.
No, not
right?
you. Not you. Okay. All right. Yeah.
This is so fucked up. I
I'm
feel
really
bad.
enjoying this.
You're gonna ruin Mike's day, dude.
All
And,
right.
I'm still not going to play Resident Evil 4. This is all so good.
Coming to you next premium live event, Mike Minotti versus Dan Reichert.
What's happening?
In a
What would that fight look like? That'd be a bad fight.
Some weird food-based
my
fight.
body's, I can't get out of chairs comfortably.
You have the first one to eat eggs and apples. That's it.
I would love.
I can do that.
We'd provide the proper padding, but I would love to see Mike Minotti do a Northern Lights suplex onto you, Dan.
It's like a full like Alicia Fox. He gets up on
Yep.
the top of his toes and just like the beautiful bridge.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I need everyone to look up what the Northern Lights suplex is and imagine Mike doing that to Dan. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with some emails, maybe some shout-outs, and a little bit of cleanup, housekeeping. Housekeeping is the word I'm looking for right after this break.
was all about. They are gonna see what they wanna see. That doesn't mean they'll ever know me. I won't let them in. They keep on knocking. I won't let them in. I'll just give them the slip. You are the only one who gets me. Yeah, yeah. You are the only one who
I hope this is the right button. Nope. Okay, there we go. Stop playing over and over again. Oh my god. Okay, emails now. Emails. Oh god. Okay. All right. Bombcast at giantbomb.com is the email address to send your lovely emails to. And once again, just as a general reminder, your emails can be about virtually any and everything. Fortunately and unfortunately, you can ask us about video games. You can ask us about relationship advice. You can ask us about you can pretend to text someone at an awkward social gathering and just send us an email. You can just say like, I don't really want to be here, but then I had to return to the office and I'm stuck and there's no more free soda.
I respect that.
I respect that and I encourage it. Let's see.
Backlar, you're so right. I haven't recorded that local audio track in so long.
It's just
I know it's not like I don't understand how recording podcasts work. I understand.
Yeah.
Like, of course, we've been doing it all on Discord with no locals forever. So why would it matter to somebody? Like, it's just I can't believe I didn't figure that out myself.
Okay, part of this part.
Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
No, Grub, you go first.
I was going to say one time messing up something for someone else and causing them more work is enough times to be like, oh my god, I don't ever want to do that again.
I take that very seriously.
Yes,
and I respect Jan, unlike Mike Minotti.
Oh, at least you called him Mike. I think I just don't I don't even try and get into your brain anymore. Right?
Yes,
like
you
I'm
do.
not even gonna
You frequently do.
Not by choice.
Yeah, you just admitted how insane that was. So
I should have realized that a long time ago.
Of course you should have.
Yeah.
Bobcast@giantbob.com is the email address. First email comes from Burton from Colorado. Hey bombers, we're coming up on 3 years since these new consoles came out. This is the first time in my life I haven't gotten the next generation console in the year it came out. I'm still using my Xbox One launch edition and haven't had any issues. But Jedi Fallen Order was the first time a game came out that I can't play because I haven't upgraded. It seems like new games are now finally only launching on new consoles. My question, do we have a definitive answer on which Xbox you should get? The Series S or X? For reference, I don't have nor plan on getting a 4K TV. My hesitation at this point now is console refreshes. Last gen, it was a 3-year mark when the Pro versions came out. Should I try and hold on until next year to see if anything gets announced? It feels weird not knowing what console to get 3 years into the generation. Shrugging hands emoticon. Thanks for the advice, Burton from Colorado.
Okay. So your options, it sounds like you're considering Xbox. You want to be an Xbox. If we're going to take that, your options are the $300 S, the $350 S with 1 terabyte, twice the storage, or $500 for the Xbox Series X. I think even on a 1080p screen, you probably should go for the X. For one thing, you do get more storage there, as much as the $350 S. But games are only going to get bigger and more complicated, and the S is going to be the thing that might have trouble with that a couple years from now. And even if there's a refresh, the X is going to keep being just fine with a Pro model out there. But the S might suffer. So I think the safer bet at this point is an X, and especially if you can maybe find a deal this holiday. I think there's a chance that this is the first holiday where we have maybe a significant Black Friday deal, and maybe that just means a bundle of games that comes with it or something like that. But that's nice too. So yeah, I think the Xbox Series X is probably the right thing to go with.
What's the price difference again?
So it's $300 for the S basic model, and then $500 for the X.
Oh wow, that is okay.
Yep, it's a bit, but it's also, I think it's probably the right investment if you are. If you're going to be playing games on this system for as long as you've been playing it on your Xbox One, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go, especially if you want to stretch it for as long as possible.
Yep, I think so.
All right. Thank you for the sound advice, everyone.
Hey, real quick, you guys, how you guys feeling about the systems 3 years in? I'm a little disappointed, I think.
I don't have an Xbox, and I think that's very telling.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like
you kind of don't need an Xbox. Like if you have a PC.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends. Like, I really like backwards compatible stuff, and the Xbox is very good with that. So
That's something
definitely
I
use it
feel
for
like
that.
I'm missing out on. Like, I'd love to pop in some old discs or whatever else and
Yeah.
explore that again.
Yeah.
Yep, I utilize it a lot, and a lot of times it runs way better. Like I played Max Payne 1 and 2 for the first time on Series X, and it was like smooth as hell, great load times. Like, yeah, it was great.
Oh, you should have played that on PC.
And I think the UX on Xbox is like just fine and very good at getting you into games these days, especially if you're used to using it. So I really like using my Xbox.
I don't think I've like. Oh, well, first off, this generation I've played more PC than anything else, without a doubt. Not even close.
Same.
Not even close. I'm only playing console exclusive stuff on both of these things, outside of my Call of Duty weirdo friends. So, yeah, I guess I think disappointing is fair though. I think that's fair criticism. I don't think these things really gained the momentum that I was expecting them to sort of hit their stride in, right? So I think that's totally fair. Yeah.
I think it's telling that we were gushing over Tears of the Kingdom, which came out on the Switch, which is how old is it now? 7?
73 years old.
March 2017.
Yep, it's in its 7th year right now because it launched in March of 2017. So we're in year 7.
There you go. All right, folks. Next email comes from Dave from Iowa. This may only be targeted towards Bacalar. Hey, Bombers. I've heard Bacalar mention some all-time greats for pinball. As someone who recently bought my first pinball machine, I've been really happy with Godzilla. But I'm curious what Bacalar considers his number one. Now that I have one, I'm inevitably looking at what I should go with next. Thanks for the many years of great podcasts. Dave from Iowa.
Oh, Dave, I really regret giving up the Godzilla I had here. I facilitated the purchasing of it for a friend, and I'm happy my friend got it. But I wish I still had that game. That game is an all-timer. Cherish it. It's an excellent pinball game. I think like
Is that this is the Matthew Broderick Godzilla game?
no, the Bryan Cranston one.
Oh,
Okay, then I don't care.
That's right.
No, it's an amazing like sort of adaptation of like all the old 60s, movies, and it's just super sick. It's
cool.
like a really awesome interpretation of it. If you see it in the wild, go play it.
Grub, I just realized if they made one based on the Broderick one, it would definitely play the Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page Cashmere version while you played.
Man, the 90s was a really messed up time. Was that a
It's great. It was great and stupid. I loved it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't like to answer like what's my number one. Like I don't think I officially have a number one. I guess for the longest time I would say Addams Family, and I would still like to have that in the collection at some point, but that is like a 5-figure purchase probably, and that's just not something I'm probably going to do anytime soon. So yeah, I think Addams Family, I think Theater of Magic, Monster Mash, Monster Bash, whatever it is.
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, people really like that game. Like there's a ton of good games. Like I've in my possession, I think between Deadpool and Jurassic Park, those are the two. Like I will even play those games in the wild when I see them. So I think those two are probably like very high on my list. Obviously, I've played them so much in my house that like I'm just have a certain connection to them. But whereas other games I've come in from Stern where I'm just like, hey, take it back. I don't want to play this anymore. That kind of thing. Like, I've heard great things about the new Foo Fighters. I think I'm gonna get that eventually. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if I have a number one really. It's always like this revolving door kind of thing.
Somewhat adjacent, I guess I'm reminded because of pinball, is when we were in Belgium, Jake Decker and I went to a place called Comic Sans, and it was a bar. And at first we were kind of like, it seemed like a play. There's a lot of like comic book Marvel stuff on the walls on the outside, and we're like, all right, we're not big comic guys, but let's go and see what a nerd bar in Belgium is like. And it wound up being awesome. There's like a whole Nintendo Switch room where people were playing Mario Party. They had like Splatoon ink all over the walls and stuff. Really? They had a bunch of pinball and everything.
That's cool.
Great, all these like great Belgian beers. I think you're going to see it all a good amount in the travelogue video we're putting out. But our favorite thing that we kept coming back to, and we brought like Baldur's Gate people and stuff to come in to like check this out, was Fucked Up Pong is what we called it. It was a physical Pong table It's not actually called fucked up pong, so don't look that up. But it's a physical thing with magnets, and it's like you have this spinny wheel thing, and it's moving like it looks like a foam pong paddle back and forth. It's officially like pong licensed and all that stuff, but it's clearly like magnets under the board that are moving it.
I've seen that.
And it causes the ball
Yeah.
to bounce at the weirdest angles, and it's
Yeah.
like super unpredictable in a way because it's working on actual physical stuff. So it's like there are just times where it's fucked up, but it's like genuinely exciting and how unpredictable it was. We went back and we like 3 nights in a row we played fucked up pong. It was great.
Oh, that sounds
Hell yeah.
fantastic.
Hell
I
yeah.
love that.
I love that.
I've been looking to see if I could buy a table. I don't know like what to search for, but I kind of want to have one in the house, and I can't. So
I
if
just
anyone,
searched for fucked up pong and it did not bring me up anything.
Okay,
that
well, if you
like
see it, let me
described.
know.
That's easy enough to find. I mean, call the place too. Like, just call them.
in Belgium.
Yes, you can call Belgium.
Yeah, but what if they say it's over here on Schlockerford Drive or whatever? It's like I can't get to Schlockerford Drive.
Well, no.
Well, maybe they
but
can ship
you'll at
it.
least know what it like.
Oh, so I could look it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know
Okay.
Why I have to
I see.
explain that, but yeah.
Okay. It's very fun though.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
All right. Next,
Yeah.
next email comes from Nathan, not Nathan from Tumwater, Washington. How do you feel about astrology? Does it mean anything to you, gentlemen?
No, complete horseshit.
I have like an irrational irritation from.
Yeah.
It is incredibly frustrating to hear. Look, like I'm fine if that's how you are like living your life. Like, great. I don't want to fucking hear about it. I don't want you like people who fucking base their entire life decision making process
Yeah.
about where fucking Mercury. Like, shut the fuck up. I don't care. You sound crazy to every person out there.
I've tried to be a less judgmental person as I've gotten older, but I will still straight up judge if somebody's like will live their life based on Mercury being in retrograde or Scorpio or whatever. It's like no, okay, all right.
Look, I get it. Like you know, everyone's got their thing. I love Satan, right? I love Satan.
Yeah, we all
I
know
love the
this
dark
about you.
teachings of our Lord and Savior.
Yep.
So like, I'm super into Satan. You're super into like the stars and shit being whatever it is. But I don't push that shit on anybody else. Yeah, go ahead.
That's where we're like, all my stuff goes into the same bullshit bin. So it's like, I don't think astrology's that much different than actual religions or anything like that. It all just goes in the same bullshit bins. And it's like, so when someone's weird about astrology, I always step back and like, this isn't the weirdest I've seen someone be. They don't like, they're not knocking on my door on Sunday mornings trying to get me to join the astrology club or something like that.
But I do think there is something about astrology where it's like, I don't know who to be until I read the shit in the newspaper kind of
I know,
thing,
but
right?
like people do that with like so much. I mean,
Totally.
If it's not astrology, it's those like, you know, the personality quizzes. What is the one that everyone says like I'm an ESRB?
Scientology?
Yeah, well, Scientology is definitely similar, but it's like I'm an INT.
The Myers-Briggs, Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, also completely just made up horseshit.
Yeah.
The people that Myers and Briggs are like, no, this is not how you're supposed to use that. And people are like, I'm building my entire life around this. And it's like, at a certain point, people are going to find something to put in that hole in their life, and whether it's astrology or religion or Myers-Briggs
keyboards or whatever, right? Like
or gold-plated
Consoles.
Mine is the Kush zone.
Yeah, or the Kush zone.
Yes.
Yeah, or gold-plated HDMI cables. Like, whatever. Yeah, people buy into bullshit wherever they buy into it, or whatever.
It is, just to be clear, I know, like, I do enjoy making fun of astrology people, right? Like, that is what I do enjoy
Very
doing.
easy.
But at the same time, like, I'm totally okay with you doing you, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want to be known very clearly. Like, it's okay for you to be an astrology fucking annoying weirdo.
It's not okay with
It
me,
doesn't make
though.
someone a. It doesn't make someone. It does not make someone a bad person.
No. But if you start a conversation with me and before I know your name, you're asking me what sign I am, you will see a cartoon smoke outline of my body because
All right,
that is how fast
hypothetical
I
here.
ran away.
Hypothetical here. What if like he came back from the dead and Notorious B.I.G. was like trying to get? Oh no, I guess he talks bad about people asking what's your name, what's your sign. Never mind. I cede my time.
Well, no, but what if he comes back from the dead and says, I was wrong, it's all real, and I in the afterlife I discovered.
If Biggie's saying that, I'll probably listen.
It's astrology and the crystals from goop.com.
And
Gwyneth Paltrow was
Mormonism.
right this entire time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, it's very difficult. Like, And then the worst is when you like discover it's like someone you really like and you hang out with them a lot, and then all of a sudden they see like, oh, that's right, something happens with my sign today, and then I'm just like, oh man, we've been friends for 15 years. When were you
That's
gonna
happened to
spring
you?
this on me?
Oh God.
Someone brought it up. A friend I went to college with brought it up like the last time we hung out, and I was sort of just like, huh, okay, like not something they talked about at all ever, and then you hear it and you're like, wish I knew that.
Yeah, Mitch is a big astronomy guy. Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Astrology, excuse
Yeah.
me.
I heard him be like, "Oh, classic Scorpio." You
Yeah,
know?
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, please. I used to like you, dude. Thank you.
He
Okay.
does. He's a big
you.
astrology guy. That's why I wanted to say it doesn't make you a bad person, because I didn't want him to. I know he's watching.
Oh yeah,
I know he's
right.
big into this
We're all
stuff.
thinking
No,
about
I'm not.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
All right. Yeah.
It is fun to LARP. It is fun to LARP as an astrology freak, though. Like doing that on a level to somebody is awesome. So I encourage that.
Fart ass in the chat puts it perfectly. Astrology, chiropractics, essential oils, religion, holistic medicine, ranch dressing, all horseshit. All right. Going from one group of very hyper obsessed people to another subset of hyper obsessed people, we're talking about car people. One Ben Hansen writes in, "What is gaming's most iconic car?" Thank you.
You shouldn't have time to be writing in.
It's like only a four-word sentence. I mean,
I mean, babies are just blobs at that point. Like he honestly is probably just like one hand here holding it, and then like he's just sitting on his phone. He might as well
Yeah.
just be writing us emails. Yeah,
tons of
Yeah.
downtime.
Thank you, Ben Hansen from MinMax.
it's
Most
the
iconic. Sweet Tooth.
okay. That's
Yeah,
actually
that's what
more
that's the
iconic
first
than
one that
the
came
Spy
to
Hunter
mind.
car. I was gonna say, yeah.
That's a good answer.
I
Dan.
thought Spy Hunter, but like we're old.
It's too old,
I
yeah.
would say Sweet Tooth is still an old thing, although not anymore. All the kids are talking about it on Peacock.
Oh yeah, I mean it's that Anthony Mackie vehicle.
All the
yeah,
kids.
literally.
Oh man, that
I'd say
did,
Sweet Tooth.
did you all see that new trailer that dropped?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Man, I
No,
really.
is it also bad?
There's car
it
combat
ain't
at
great.
at a minute 40 into the trailer. There's finally vehicular combat.
Okay.
Thing is, I
It's
really
all
like.
it's all like Ultimas though. They're all like Pontiacs and stuff. It's really
Yeah, where's my
weird.
Toyota Camrys?
Yeah,
Come
where's
on.
that Camry getting its day in the sun, huh?
I like everyone involved in that show.
Sure,
like all the
yeah.
actors in it.
Sure,
It's just like
sure.
it's not lining up, y'all. It's not lining up. Famous cards. Do the Mario Kart cards count? Folks are chiming in about
Yeah.
I'd say
that.
let's say it has to be street legal. So like no Mario Karts, no Metal Gears.
What about the crazy taxi? Like what
I mean,
convertible
that'd be in the top
Cadillac is
five.
that?
I'd say
I wouldn't say
top five,
iconic.
like
Yeah,
BD Joe's cab. You know.
sure. One of the car on the front of Burnout 3 is iconic to me.
Okay.
The Warthog.
Oh
No.
Oh.
Is that,
that's-
you said it's not street legal.
Well,
does that have turn
Hummers are
signals?
street legal.
Does it have
Is
turn
there backup
signals?
lights? Does that have backup
Yeah,
lights?
I don't know if the Warthog street legal.
I think Sweet Tooth might be it.
It makes
I
sense.
think
Yeah.
so. It's so
Yeah.
immediately identifiable. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Any other cars popping up in your heads, gentlemen?
I've
I'm
been
sad we
thinking.
never got more Dark Tooth. You guys remember Dark Tooth?
No.
No, I
No.
don't.
It
What's
was
that?
the boss of Twisted Metal 2, and it was a giant black and pink, like Bret Hart styled ice cream truck with a flaming head. And when you kill Darktooth, the flaming head comes off, and you have to fight the flaming head. And it turns out there's like a withered old man in there screaming at you, and I think it might be your dad. Yeah, Darktooth is pretty sweet.
We've all been there, huh?
Sounds Freudian. I like it.
Twisted Metal 2 kicked ass.
All right then.
All right. Last email comes from Chuck, and this is about everyone's favorite celebrity. Back in 2012, I was 21 and working at Guitar Center in Appleton, Wisconsin. One night, a guy walks in to buy some strings, and I say, "Hey, are you Hal Sparks?" And he said, "Yes." He was playing a show downtown and said I should come out. Here's the thing. He wasn't doing stand-up comedy. He was the singer-guitarist in his own band. It was a Wednesday night, and there was 10 people there tops. I'm sure
Right.
the disappointing turnout is why he bothered hanging out with me and a friend I convinced to come along. But he was nice. He was a nice guy regardless. The best part is that at the end of the night, I got a picture with him, but my brick phone didn't save it. So I have no proof this happened. Then again, who would make up a story about hanging out with Hal Sparks of all people? Chuck.
Oh,
good point.
Oh, this is a very believable story, though.
Yeah, absolutely,
100%
absolutely.
believable. Yeah.
I want to meet French Stewart.
Where's
What's he up
at?
to? Yeah, what's he doing?
I don't know. We did say we were gonna one time we were gonna do that Film in 40 series called French Cinema, where we watch all the French Stewart movies. But
Did you come up with this
Home
idea?
Alone 3.
I think we all did together.
How
Like,
many?
Inspector Gadget 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Love Stinks.
Yeah, yeah.
Does he have to be prominently featured in it or a guest star?
I mean,
Yeah.
like he needs to be like, he can't be an extra, but I think beyond that, everything was on the table.
He showed up in something recently. This may have been why we were talking about it. We're like, oh, he has this weird small role, but he's not like French stewarding it up, you know?
Sure, that's right. Yeah, what was that?
He's in Leaving Las Vegas?
Whoa, weird.
Broken Arrow, McHale's Navy, of course. Yeah, okay, so I saw all these in Broken Arrow, McHale's Navy, Dick, and Love Stinks. I saw all those in the theaters. He's in Home Alone 4. I haven't heard of anything past like 2003. Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2.
What was
Joseph
he in? It was
Gordon-Levitt's.
Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh no,
Yeah.
what is
Yes.
this? There's a movie I've never heard of this. 30 Nights of Paranormal Activity with the devil inside the girl with the dragon tattoo. That's definitely one of those shitty
Oh, it's a
parody movies.
parody.
I've never heard of this. Oh my god, the fucking cover art is in bed together is Bane from Dark Knight, Abe Lincoln.
No, no,
oh,
I
this
can't do
looks
this. I can't do
fucking
this.
terrible.
That sounds incredible.
Oh, that looks bad.
I'd rather get into astrology. I cannot. fucking-
Oh, wait, it's from the director of Saving Ryan's Privates, the 41-year-old virgin who knocked up Sarah Marshall and felt super bad about it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that about does it for emails. I would get to the shout outs, but the shout outs, oh god. We'll figure out a proper way to do the shout outs because otherwise it's going to kill me. But shout outs to everyone that filled out the Google Doc shout outs. I said I would not read any shout outs or would not consider them after the second segment. But of course, everyone filled up to like 50 plus shout outs before then.
That's something a Gemini would say.
No, classic Gemini.
Excuse me. I'm a Libra.
Sure you
General
are.
housekeeping here. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're gonna dip back into AEW Fight Forever. Maybe the legend of Daddy Dan continues, or perhaps we explore some other avenues.
Curious, I've heard some things and quotes and stuff come out of that and seen some screenshots. I have not seen the quick look, but I've heard of All Chip No Dip. I've seen a t-shirt. I have questions about what I'm doing in that story mode, so I would like to
You're
to follow
appreciating
up on that.
art.
I don't know
Yeah.
what you mean by T-shirt. I don't understand.
Oh, I saw a mock-up of a thing that somebody tweeted.
Yeah,
and,
like there's no way
yeah.
that's a real shirt very soon and will be on sale very soon. There's just no way.
Seems unlikely, yeah.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely.
The amount of man hours it would take to make that happen.
Oh man.
Yeah. So looking forward to seeing that and playing some Fight Forever with you guys.
This Thursday, supposedly, Flight Club returns. Is that correct, gentlemen? Does it look like it's going to happen? Is that forecasted?
It is. I will say that I'm moving on to the next step of my world tour situation before I have a permanent home, and so I will be on the road from 4 a.m. that morning with my computer in tow.
It's going to be a game time decision based on Dan's life.
I will be.
Yeah.
I will be pulling up probably to my next place of living and setting up. So should be good. For Thursday, it might be like a little into the afternoon or so, but stay tuned.
Well,
It's a
we will.
phone-based decision. Is
We will
what
see.
It is, really.
We will see. This Friday, I believe we're going to have a dinosaur-based UPF focused around a specific game where the dinosaurs don't stop coming out of the sky. Another episode of Voicemail Dump Truck as per usual this Thursday as well. Game Mess mornings throughout the rest of the week. And hey, if you're watching live, you should tune in to our homies at GameSpot at 3 p.m. today because Tam is going to learn how to get good at Street Fighter 6 with the one and only Justin Wong. So let's see if Tam's got what it takes to beat Justin Wong. Oh man, Dutch Angles at the Grub House. What's going on over here? Is he playing basket?
Oh, he's got one of those
He
things.
got a Papa shot. He has a Papa shot. I got to get fucked up, Pong. Now I'm going to be in an arms race with Grub.
I have no space for anything else here.
You
Please.
could put that over the sink. Yes, you could, Jim.
Oh,
of
I
course.
could put it over.
There-
the-
there will-
Grub, you didn't hear? I'm starting an arms race with you, which I need to get. I'm getting fucked up Pong so I can
Let's
compete
go.
with that Papa
God,
shot. All
you
right.
guys are gonna turn your houses into like Dave and Buster's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, that
I'm
is
well on the
move.
way. Yes.
Yeah.
There will be another Jeff's, I believe, this week. We just recorded it this morning, so there's that as well.
Man, my angle right now looks like I'm in a Mission Impossible movie. All right, I'm gonna.
I'm seeing that tonight.
Oh, I'm
So
curious. I'm
excited.
curious. So in lieu of shout outs, we're trying something new today on the Google Doc. I'm going to only read half of these for my name. We're going to do AKAs, baby. Hit the music, me. All right. Thank you for joining us on the Giant Bombcast. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. I've been your host, Jan Ochoa, the Jan Splainer, a.k.a. Jan the Fake Out Ochoa, a.k.a. Jan Sekiro Ochoa, a.k.a. Jan Kit Fist Ochoa, a.k.a. Macho Jan Jandy Savage, a.k.a. Dr. Coffee, a.k.a. Young Peach Mango Pie, a.k.a. the Ponset Papa, a.k.a. Halo Halo Hati, a.k.a. the Susio on Main. And he has been Jeff Grubb, a.k.a. the Newsmaker, Headline Shaker, a.k.a. Pro Leaker, a.k.a. Denise Rumors, a.k.a. Bubba Gubba, a.k.a. the Gaming Zaddy, a.k.a. the Slamma Jamma, a.k.a. Sir Swervelot, a.k.a. Computer Killer, a.k.a. Hot Dog Enthusiast, a.k.a. Jeff Glizzy Grubb, and he's been Jeff Bacalar, a.k.a. Jib, a.k.a. In Diffie, a.k.a. Dr. Hockey, Doc Hawk, a.k.a. Bad YouTuber, a.k.a. Jeff Grumpelar, a.k.a. the cooler Tony Soprano, a.k.a. Stunlock Bacalar, a.k.a. Smeagol, Jeff Important Bacalar, a.k.a. Mr. You Aren't Paying Enough Attention to Story in Video Games.
Or this segment.
Or this segment. A.k.a. Does Final Fantasy 16 have incest like Game of Thrones or just the boning? Lol. And he has been Dan Reichert, a.k.a. Captain Cock6, a.k.a. All Chip No Dip, a.k.a. the Ass Pillow Ambassador, a.k.a. Dick the Cock Johnson, a.k.a. the Living Waluigi, a.k.a. the World Wanderer, the Computer Killer, Jeff the Minge Killer Bacalar, what? The Closed Loop Cooler, a.k.a. the CPU Bump Card Puncher, a.k.a. Broken Down Piece of Meat, a.k.a. the Banhammer, a.k.a. D'Angelo White. And that's been the Giant Bombcast. We'll see you next week for another installment coming at 2 hours sooner than you normally expect if you watch live. We'll see you then, 9 a.m., 12 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. I love you.
Mike, get back in so we kick you out one more time.
One more time. Shouts out to you.
Mitch, I won't kick you. Mitch, come in. I won't kick you, Mitch.
Yeah.
Come say goodbye to the folks. Come, they want to hear from you.
This is
Hello, I'm here for.
Still good.
so fucked up.